It is ready indeed. So let's get the party started. Sentinels going up against the Thieves.
All right, my friend, the beginning of the classic matchup. You know, this is something as old as time at this point in terms of Marvel Rivals history. And we're going to see who makes history today by adding another W, notching the belt a bit here against their quote-unquote storied opponent. We're going to see the ban off the rip of Elsa, and that to me is no surprise.
Yeah, definitely respecting, a lot of the play style from both squads with the Elsa in that, how strong it can be. The Loki ban comes through on the opposite side, though, knowing that 100 Thieves also have played well around that. You mentioned Winnie earlier, has done well on that as well, playing around their, even Cloak and Dagger stuff if they want to necessarily, but also it's just been, both teams just have such good Loki play at points, and it's matching the opposite side. So it wouldn't surprise me if we just have mirrors actually coming through. So very different from the last matchup that we had. But the Daredevil ban would be smart considering Self and how good he's played. And for 100 Thieves, they have a few options, I think. They can kind of go multiple directions now at this point, if they want to get potentially a one-sided tank pool. I think just because of the fact that they haven't played as strong. Okay, they did do that. It's because, they haven't shown like a good Daredevil kind of playstyle just yet. I know Rye's good at Daredevil, but they haven't played well around it.
Yeah, he hasn't really been playing it. He's flexed to it at the end of certain matches, I believe. But yeah, it's not a starting point at all. So definitely, something to think about there. But we are going to see the lock-in of Mantis, which means, yes, Sentinels definitely wants that triple backline composition. Right, Amazing likely will be on that Mantis. We could see Ultron. And, they could try to ban that now, right? Like, the idea would be, do we want to try to remove that and mess with it a little bit? Yep, there it is.
Yeah, it makes sense. Good call. And let's see. 100 Thieves letting let that go through with the Gambit and the Mantis. So letting the supports or the strategists come through on Sentinel's side, and they get the Invisible Woman Protect, which is kind of, sort of fallen through on the wayside, but I guess Doctor Strange was also still available, and I don't think Sentinels have really played a ton of that Doctor Strange Mantis stuff, but, obviously no Invisible Woman banned either, so you can still get that team up. So 100 Thieves also still have options. And for Sentinel's side, do they want to go for that Doctor Strange potential? Gambit still got through, so they go for the Rogue, but I wonder if that's necessary or if they could deal with Vinny on the Rogue. It looks like they're not going to take their chances. They go for the ban of it.
Yeah, it's just the idea behind letting Gambit through on both sides and having a Rogue. The threat of just pulling alt charge and enabling your Gambit to have alts more frequently is enough value. We're going to see the comp showing up, and it might be pretty close to a mirror matchup like we were hearing there from Zoe. Good call out, but they're going to have that Van pool for Vinny, which cannot be matched going into this.
Yeah, I'm always worried when we get Mantis Doctor Strange going through, in general, just because of how strong it can be. So that'll definitely be something to think about for the side of Sentinels. But regardless, it will be a first map, and like you said, it's a storied matchup between two teams that have been around forever in the scene. And a lot of veterans still in, a lot of new players. Obviously, Self has come into this roster, has been, a standout player, has tried to replace big shoes, and I think has done it to a very high level. And then for the opposite side, for Sentinels, filling in, slotting in new players with Flame and Mir coming in. They've also had to deal with some struggles early on, so it's about kind of which team actually is looking better at the moment with the synergistical issues they've dealt with.
And I'm looking forward to seeing it. TTK now on that Strange. Might see an early portal play. Crimzo is going to be on the road. Clearly something they've been working on to have in the bag. Crimzo known for the cap, the group, something more traditional. Good to see a change up here. Try to throw off the opposition. Because right now, double shield Vanguard line for 100 Thieves, bringing us way back as they start up on point early on, just setting up and using that again, or is that portal as a wall?
Yeah, they get to play that triple Vanguard for the side of 100 Thieves, whereas we're going triple Strategist for the side of Sentinels with the Mantis. So they kind of have a lot of HP to tank through, even with that damage boost potential from Dongman. And he's already sent very far back. Pressure coming through from 100 Thieves' side.
Pro with some positioning here in the back line. Everybody staying healthy for the moment. Dongman, as always, playing that main Vanguard line with the shield to play Strange. We'll have that team up as well. Make sure you can enable a little more combo oriented. Ooh, good pull there by Kurova, trying to find some value onto Self, who will be on that Magneto right now. But that's that triple Van line that they are running, and driven backwards is the entirety of Sentinels. 100 Thieves will have advantage with that early ultimate from Vinny. Matched now by Winnie on that point to keep this space owned.
Yeah, they have to keep falling back, though, no straddles until now. Kurova pops his own. 100 Thieves coming up onto that Doctor Strange. Both are. Let's see if they disengage it in the upcoming fight.
Crimzo is going to copy up there, steal this end song. Inferno from the sky will land. Bang! Is it get value? No, it does not. Delena tries to make something work out. TTK holding on to the Eye of Agamotto. Match right back by Yusher. You can't get Elsa. Go ahead and run the Phoenix. Bang! Right down onto Millennia. Yusher able to find the first pick of this series. Crimzo now onto TTK, and all of Thieves will fall slowly but surely. And that should give point retake, but 31% here for Thieves so far.
Yeah, it is funny that the pace of play for both of these squads has slowed down drastically compared from the last one. But that's what happens, I suppose, when Mantis is in the lineup. 100 Thieves obviously prioritizing keeping Vinny on the tank pool in this situation instead of TTK. But it hasn't worked out in that first fight. Sentinels disengaged to get the damage boost on Yusher. He's able to take down Millennia across the map. Excellent first fight from Sentinels, even though they did use the Raging Royal Flush in the previous one. Invisible Boundary coming up soon. We'll see if they can take advantage as well, as the Mantis does have uncontested ultimate. Eye of Agamotto is still available for both teams.
And they're running that triple Vanguard line, and actually Yusher can run a pretty mean Wolf too, so curious if that ends up coming out if they're struggling more, but we'll see in a moment as Thieves do have control of point. Heartbreaker goes out here for Crimzo, trying to steal some of that alt-charge. Winning from downtown finds Yusher, just making sure they are going to maintain presence on point in a moment. 43% in climbing for Sentinels, though. Can Thieves get on there? Ultimate's being committed by Rymazing now with that Soul Resurgence, and that will drive attention now backwards. Matched by Winnie with the Invisible Boundary, but it won't give them enough space to take this point, so they just have to kite here. Self is going to be leading that charge on the Vanguard, and that is something we don't see too frequently on Dom.
Invisible Boundary, they're committed on the defensive side, and like you said, it hasn't been seen too frequently. Eye of Agamotto comes out to peel forward as the Meteor M. Counter Eye comes out, but no KOs found. Nice block there from the Vanguard line of Dogman as well. The shield comes back in from TTK. Help peel. The ult gets pushed back away, though, I believe, by Kurova in that fight. So nice displacement. Both Eye of Agamottos pretty much negated to be useless, and Sentinel still control the point, so they're fine with this neutral being a little bit longer as they come up with the Rage Royal Flush soon, and Yusher's ult. But Crimzo gets taken out so low and falls down. Nice job counter-engaged by 100 Thieves.
Phoenix in the sky doesn't seem to get too much besides burning cooldowns. Delena gonna find two as we see the trade right back from Yusher. But Gambit does not fold, folks, as the commitment continues. And again, Flamme finds one as Delena takes out Rymazing. TTK finding Flame as Kurova also falls. TTK on this Strange, bringing us back here a couple seasons. And now Thieves will have control of point, but Sentinels just need to win one, and they're coming back quickly.
I mean, the HP has just been so tough to chunk through on the side of 100 Thieves' side. You know, we did come back through with Raging Royal Flush late. Crimzo goes aggressive again. Oh my god, takes down so low, but he's still alive. So excellent healing coming through, forcing back 100 Thieves, almost claiming the point.
And we're going to see more commitment now as Dongmin is looking to find one and does onto Self. Yusher with the Phoenix just reborn again, but does not get a KO as Rymazing says, I'll do that, no worries. 96% in climbing here for Sentinels. Nice sleep by Rymazing onto the front line of Vinny, who's trying to stall for days. Does just that as the Boundary now launches, and Resurgence as an answer from Rymazing once more. Kurova holding onto a Boundary as well will give the heavy advantage for Sentinels here. Thieves are in a tough spot on this point as Yusher and Flame find another two, and it might be a matter of time here, folks, if these Strat ults are committed properly. But TTK and Self could have ult if they buy enough time. OT ticking down, and that could be it. No, it's not. What a touch there by TTK with millimeters on the bar, and that is point one, Sentinels.
Yeah, I mean, the 100 Thieves did a great job with the Royal Flush in the previous fight. I figured Sentinels couldn't come back with their own, but Crimzo, you talked about it as practice on the road coming through, and the fact that they got that through is also enabling them so well. Rymazing as well in the middle of the fight, just staying so healthy, you know, kind of playing for his own life, able to take advantage of the situations they're in. For 100 Thieves, that's brutal. Next map, maybe you could assume, okay, you could dive on this Mantis to give them less space to kind of group up, but that was excellent shots from Yusher towards the end, towards Millennia, and 100 Thieves now sent back in the first round.
Before you attack, get ready.
And we're going to see here ult advantage on the side of Sentinels. Very close with TTK, Self, and Delena, which could be a good answer, but you do have a Strat ult available, which is very valuable at this moment here on the side of Kurova early on to take and own that space. A lot of strats, when they are calculating, you know, ult percentage properly, they'll use that Invisible Boundary offensively to slow whoever's overextending. Find that first pick. Next thing you know, you have point. In domination, that's everything. Sentinels trying to keep this going here. Can Thieves bounce back?
Yeah, that's a big ask, I think, for the squad, but they switched Vinny over to the Venom. They're going for that triple Vanguard line yet again with TTK on that Doctor Strange. See if they can fully enable this. I mean, they're not running the Jeff either with the team up. They're just going full engage with the Invisible Woman still in the lobby to make sure TTK gets that team up. The last time, I mean, the shield, the Meteor M himself was blocked by Dongman. We'll see if he can do that again.
We're going to see how this initiates here. Just stalling for right now is only in 100 Thieves' favor as they need to build these straddles quickly. You can see Delena holding on to the Phoenix, ready to be reborn as Delena finds the first pick on a Crimzo. Good start there. This tracking is obscene to watch. Good shots from the Duelist Star as the boundary is committed. Dongman able to find Vinny now. And there's that Meteor M trying to stuff it. LeBron not able to make that happen. Good break and focus there by the side of Sentinels, or excuse me, by Thieves, as now Gambit does not fold. Delena goes up into the sky, and the Phoenix will fall. Will it get value, though, is the major question. Agamotto onto the back line is big, as Flame finds Delena, and that could be a good start here now for Sentinels, who want to retake this point, but Thieves are holding on. Stalling coming out from Vinny, who does have that overhelp. Not sure that landed. That Feast is going to pay for that in blood. It's Yusha with some insane movement there once more, and now the boundary's committed by Thieves to keep this point in their favor. They're doing a great job holding on.
I mean, still in it at the moment, controlling that point. Vinny's come back multiple times to force them away and then goes down, but Crimzo has to find these KOs in the backline. Winnie trades back Yusha as well. Winnie, throughout, has just found these like picks in the middle of the fight, but Crimzo eventually goes down, and 100 Thieves disengage. Just works out. They're still in control of the point, building it up to 40%. Nice fight yet again, and for 100 Thieves, they did use a lot in the previous one at the very least. For Sentinels, we just used that Heartbreaker like you mentioned. Not too much value. And this time, I mean, they keep disengaging Vinny, but the trades come through from TTK and the rest of the squad.
Yeah, and they're going to have to retake quickly here. Sentinels, 50% for Thieves. They want to get to that 75% number to ensure it's a one-fight retake game for them. And they want to push this to map 3. Sentinels do have ult advantage for the time being. TTK holding on to that Eye of Agamotto in a few moments will be a big problem, as always. Amazing's commitment now. They're all diving in heavy. Good push there by Self to try to force back some of that momentum. As Yusher says, not up in here. Goodbye, Delena. Trying to match right back with one of the most well-known hit scan players, both of which just dominated so far in Ignite in this preseason, making a name for themselves.
Absolutely. I mean, the hit scan role is definitely showing to be stacked in North America. Vinny goes down to Yusher on the point. And same thing with Malaya, so eventually they're whittled down to not many left. 100 Thieves kind of doing what Sentinels did on the previous round, where they, are fine losing this fight, maybe going next with ultimates. They still potentially will have a portal up in a sec. Winnie's getting staggered on the objective as well. Not fun to see for the squad, but regardless, 100 Thieves. Upcoming fight, I mean, we've seen in the middle of it, they keep finding picking Crimzo. Can Crimzo live a little bit longer? I know he's taking a lot of damage, and the team's trying to help and support it. But maybe they have to trade, get some more damage on the Vinny. Regardless, they're losing their Vanguard a little bit earlier than Huntries have been.
Yeah, and they're going to be close to a ton here, Sentinels, on this attack. The question is, will they overcommit? They cannot right now, as Thieves the ball's in their court at this moment. They need to win one real fight to force them into a portal panic play. TTK with the eye. Does it land? It does not on anyone. Forces out a little bit of direction, but that's about it as the boundaries match. Look at that Venn diagram on the screen right now. Everybody just playing to build that ult quickly. Flame does have ult available with Dongman and Yusha for Sentinels. Millennia going to start off with the fold right back. Vinny going in with the feast. Delena from the sky. The Phoenix descending. Bang. Does not seem to get enough value. What a play there, dodging that Meteor M onto Self, and I love this view. Shout out observers as we look now at Yusher waiting to dunk onto that back line.
Yeah, looking for Crimzo now has ult after. These eyes are kind of hard to force at the beginning of the fight, and that's kind of been snowballing for Sentinel's side ever since that first eye was missed from TDK. And then also I think Vinny went in deep to try to dive with that Phoenix combination, but it was dodged again. The backline of Sentinel is playing so safe. People mentioning Karova has been a huge step up coming back into the game, and he has been. I think he disengaged that ult, wasted basically two to try to get him and KO him. And then that early eye was just, it's hard to pull off Eye of Agamotto, to think, in this comp for both of these Doctor Stranges, whereas Dongman setting up for a bit of a cheesy one on the height, eventually gives it up. No Phoenix ult again to deal with Amazing, so in the middle of these fights, they can come back into it, put the pressure back on 100 Thieves.
Great calls there. As you can see, Sentinels are going to be up and alt charge. Thieves really committing on that last fight and not finding value. Dongman playing around this natural cover with Crimzo here, does have Eye available, and you can use it to take vertical and use it very quickly on that vertical leave to find value on second floors, as we see now. That Banhammer, I'm not sure was meant for that front line. Might have meant to go towards the back. That's huge for Sentinels here, as Karova finds TTK now. Vinny being driven backwards is going to be purpled and will pay for it from Karova once more. Sentinels have this in their grasp. Can they close this out? The touch comes in, but not for long. Sentinels, map 1.
Excellent map 1 indeed by Sentinels, and a bit of a tough one to see for 100 Thieves. We'll see if they can come back on a map that favors them, but domination, I think, is where these two teams was at. It was favored towards 100 Thieves, but regardless, this still feels, again, like back to the original Vanguard issue this team is kind of having, is that there's overlapping heroes played. for their Vanguards. And it feels like a lot of these different teams have this problem. Sentinels sometimes do as well with Dongman and Crimzo. But realistically, like our Venom player probably should be TTK because we want him to have him on the Vanguard pool sometimes. If Vinny's going to switch to Vanguard pool, like we have to have TTK on the Venom, surely no? Like,
yeah, I'm with you. I would have liked the Venom there, yeah, significantly more. I think you put TTK on that Van pool, who's always been very strong on that hero. You put Vinny on that Groot or Cap, and you just disrupt backline a little bit. You try to get them looking elsewhere, and then you have another answer with the Freedom Charge. I think maybe that is your solution, but Self and Vinny unable to find a single final throughout that entire series. And you can see here on the opposition on the side of SEN, they look clean across the board. Shout out to this start right now of a storied matchup, folks. We will take you to map 2 right after this break.
Welcome back, everyone. SEN up in the series 1-0 against 100 Thief, and it was just thieves, plural. And it was there's many of them, and it was honestly quite a great performance for them. I didn't expect them to look quite this dominant. They run that triple strat that we expected to see from them, something they've heavily tried to implement in the last few matches. But I think what stood out like straight out of the gate for me, Ship, was seeing Crimzo on the Rogue, having him adding to his hero pool, which honestly, like literally the first week of group stage, I think he just like hard stuck to Angela and it didn't work at all. So everyone was like, oh, and then he like went back to the Cap and that looked great. So like, it is so great to see him getting value out of the Rogue.
Yeah, I think it's one of those picks that if you have in your bag as a team, that is a problem. That's a huge problem to have. As we can see, Museum of Contemplation going to be the next one up. But yeah, there's a lot of value to Rogue right now. Rogue really does move up a full tier when you have that Gambit team up, because all of your moves now become piercing spread abilities on connection. So you hit with any of that backline, they are spreading even more damage. So if they're stacking, it's even more threatening. But outside of that, the Heartbreaker is just huge against strategists. And when you're running triple strat into a 2, if you can steal alt charge from a strategist and make them have less answers at all times, it is big value.
Do you expect a ban coming out here? Since a lot of teams feel like Rogue deserves a ban. Is that a priority you are making as 100 Thieves now moving into the second map, Dogman?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think I made the same mistake that I guess Remix did in that previous map, due to the fact that he went for the Deadpool Vanguard ban instead of the Rogue.
Well, let's see what happens in store for us on this second map. Can 100 Thieves bring it back? We're about to find out.
All right, as we go in again, my friend, that one in Sentinel's favor looked really strong there. Not sure I love the triple Vanguard comp from Thieves. Think they need to change it up?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the triple Vanguard is good, and I think we heard a lot about it coming into each week, but, you know, it depends on the heroes you get for sure. Like, and I feel like it's also maybe the right players and the right heroes, you know, like that's kind of a part of it. But we'll see if that changes up. This time, though, 100 Thieves go for that ban of the Gambit instead of the Elsa, meaning we're probably going to see the Usher Elsa come through, and then no Gambit because they don't want to play the Gambit mirror anymore.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to see the save here of Loki for the side of 100 Thieves. And I think that's not a bad decision. I mean, it's early, but, you know, if you think it's going to help the composition out, that's something to keep in mind. But I don't know that I love it because Elsa was there for you. Or no, excuse me, Gambit was there for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think I just don't like playing Gambit comps right now, which is, I guess, fine. So maybe that means they're going to pivot towards like the Cloak and Dagger Loki stuff potentially, or, you know, Mantis Groot still on the table. They do like playing the Groot comp. So, yeah. I mean, I kind of don't mind it. It's leaning into your strengths a little bit, like we saw it of, we lost. Since Sentinels as well don't have that Wolverine player that we talked about, wouldn't be a bad shout, even though you are still letting, you know, one of the strongest characters in the game in Elsa. Just it's almost like, I guess, why would you not ban that first? You're more scared of the Gambit mirror maybe instead of the Elsa.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's even more playing into the fact that you want to run the Groot composition, right? Like, maybe that's the read here for Sentinels, that they want to shut that down if they do have a free ban available, because they don't want to have to deal with the cleanse. I mean, I don't know, because I'm with you. I don't know that I love it so far, but I'm not sure it's the ideal comp. But again, I do think that this is a solid map for those more traditional front to back comps, especially Groot. There's a lot of tight access points that you can play around with setup. So we'll see if they elect to make that happen for 100 Thieves. But Sentinels, in my opinion, so far are winning this ban phase.
I mean, I think it's only, Sentinels obviously want to play the group mirror, or the group mirror 2. They've shown that they like doing it with Crimzo.
True.
And then the Invisible Woman ban, I don't know if it's, maybe I'm crazy, but I don't think it's necessary if we already ban out the Mantis. Like, we go for then the Doctor Strange doesn't become as crazy if you have Invisible Woman, Doctor Strange team up. And I know it's good still, but I don't know. I feel like it's really benefiting from Mantis damage boosts and is not as strong, especially on this like front to back map. But I could be wrong about that.
It's a good ban there, and theoretically, I think they would lock it as well. We'll see if that comes through, but I'm with you. You know, I think they're just hard targeting the triple backline. They don't want to deal with it. So that's the thought of this composition. Having Loki there is more so an answer if you want to run less, less healing focused compositions. And they're going to save the Mantis themselves. Okay, we'll see what 100 Thieves are cooking and how it works out for them here, as they will be on attack first. The final ban coming in from Sentinels is going to be, drumroll, that Invis right back.
All right. I mean, I think Sentinels also showed that they were not really scared of the Mantis stuff, considering, the fact they banned Wolverine instead of Mantis on their side. So I don't even know if 100 Thieves needed to protect it, but I guess it is making Sentinels have to react with the Invisible Woman, maybe showing they wanted to ban Mantis last. But it is interesting. I think this ban phase is unique for 100 Thieves. I kind of liked how it started. Like, I actually don't mind the Loki protect if we do the right things after it. And I know they're really good on Loki stuff. Like, a lot of these teams are kind of rely on the Loki. Like, I feel like some teams aren't good whenever they have Loki banned. You know, NRG being one of them. Sentinels kind of another team that does that. 100 Thieves, I guess, also like to do it. But regardless, they get to play the Mantis stuff with Self on Ultron, and I think he's going to have to step it up yet again. Kind of a lot of pressure on to both the Mantis player and the Ultron player on this map as we enter the Museum of Contemplation, where we know dive can also be quite strong if certain bans happen.
And we get to see TTK on the Emma. I know a lot of folks are going to be stoked about that. Emma Mains in the chat, rise up. I think he got MVP last time we saw him here on the Emma. It looked really, really strong. But we're going to see if that will still happen into a comp of a more front to back with, especially with that Elsa pressure, right? Like, there's just so much damage available here for Sentinels with Yusher on that Elsa and Ryan Mazing up in the sky. But they haven't found as much success here, Sentinels, with this triple comp. But I think, I like the change of at least having the cloak so you can immediately double ult in to engage hard. But I'm looking forward to seeing how this shakes out as we start out right now. Usher going to start applying pressure and get that alt charge 6%, climbing quickly. Vinny on that Groot like we expected, and just like you called out, matched right back by Crimzo.
Yeah, I mean, they want it. They don't want to deal with Self on Wolverine because Self can play pretty good Wolverine, so kind of makes sense. And for them, they haven't shown a ton of Wolverine, so 100 Thieves obviously not scared in that department. Honestly, not a terrible ban phase, like I said, for 100 Thieves, and they have that Cloak and Dagger too instead of the Invisible Woman, which was banned out earlier on, but this is kind of a more synergistical approach to it, in my opinion anyways.
Yeah, and I really like Flame on that Loki as Usher trades that right back onto Winnie. Delena is able to find one there, but again, numbers evened out. Out go Crystals. Delena doing a good job pulling out a bunch of cooldowns while still getting value. Notice that heal wall in the sky. And Groot that ult incredibly quickly. And you can see now, Vinny and Crimzo both way up there in alt charge. And the backline much lower. Usher at 90% already is going to lead the charge so far.
Yeah, Delena's always one of these guys that really does well with a hard pocket. Just plays aggressive, far forward with the damage boost, finds that pick. The ultimate, though, still, Usher has Glartrox. Here it comes on the right side. He found everybody. That's three into the Glartrox. Goodbye. And here comes the Elsa comments immediately, I bet.
Yeah, I have no doubt that that's probably flowing in the chat right now as Rye Amazing's able to clean up Winnie. And yeah, Usher farmed that ult so quick. Already 15% back. Just off the back of a massive Glartrox. Full right now, that Glartrox.
Yeah, 100 Thieves a bit of an impasse now with TTK on the Emma Frost, and I'm sure they're going to want to keep playing front to back style a little bit, but that's still giving time again for Usher as long as they don't get KOs. More time. Here comes the Ultron's Rage. Flame gets okay. Tap before he can even teleport.
Yeah, that was disgusting by Delena, who's doing what Delena does. Good shots. A lot of cooldowns being burned there by Delena. With the Phoenix lands, it will erupt and dominate the map. Goodbye to all walls, as Vinny will set up here in a moment. Just kind of prepping here. Strangling Prison available as well. TTK playing on that left side, ready to use. Oh, that is a big ult there. Just a stall. Can they get the point? They will. Great heads-up play by Vinny on that group.
Yeah, huge plays. 100 Thieves took advantage of Sentinel was kind of sleeping at the wheel. Flame with the very late teleport. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on him. Delena's like one of those guys that you kind of least expect to be where he is at all times. Like, he's always more aggressive than you would assume on a flank or whatever. So it's hard to react to. And I think he's very unique in that approach. For 100 Thieves, though, on their offensive side, they do have copy available. They can go aggressive again. And we'll see if they can maybe save this as well with the Sonic Seduction. Dongmin on that Meteor M potentially up soon, but doesn't have it to maybe match anything for 100 Thieves' side.
Emma's ult available, launching immediately. Going to be walled out, but is going to be able to slide to the side of it. Flame heading backwards now, pulls out a nice guiding point, trying to deal enough damage, and off the back of a big Strangling Prison now, as Crimzo is able to find one. Usher, another onto Vinny. It's going to set the tone a bit, send him back into the spawn door. Plenty of time on the clock here, though, for 100 Thieves, but this is where Sentinels needs to make their stand and get some serious time.
Yeah, again, they're going to have to rely heavily on Delena, but Usher, Lartrock's last fight was huge. It probably could be huge again. I know you have Diamond form, at least for TTK, to potentially get in the way of it. Also, Usher's well-known where he is. Maybe they use the Meteor M so they can't break it on this engage for Sentinels.
Yeah, another big Glartrox opportunity available here. Winnie with copy. Delena in the sky with Phoenix can be a problem too. Keep your eyes out for those ultimates. Dongmin making the switch to the Magneto, and that's for one reason, and that's to try to get rid of C&D. Bang! Oh my goodness, as Vinny goes down from Dongmin. Maybe you don't need to get rid of C&D if you can find value in the neutral, almost getting a two-piece there. Korova going to walk them in once more. And trying to deal some damage, as said, just going to gain a little bit of ult charge for everyone as Dongmin's able to take out Delena and take this space.
Even they comboed. They followed through Usher, winning with the ult. They followed up, and sometimes you would see like Psionic Seduction with the Phoenix ult combination kind of help peel it off too, make sure they don't break it coming down. But because TTK got Glartrox, it was all ended. Here comes the Sonic now. Can they set up Vinny's ult? He takes so much damage. Ultron on the high ground. Surely they're just engaging now to avoid this Groot ult, and it's just not synergistical right now to 100 Thieves' side.
And we can see now another Strangling Prison, but Crystals get pulled out. Well done there by Flame in the backline, as it will be answered right back shortly by Crimzo. Keep your eyes on. The disappearing wall play finds the backline, but Crystals get committed now as another answer. Can they find any value? They cannot. Sometimes you'll pull up that wall to call it away, to just surprise them with an ult, as Flame now engages once more. Great blind, trying to get a pick there, and does with Usher.
Okay. I wonder, you know what? I'm curious if TTK is going to go to Angela now. This is where I think he would, at most times, switch to the Angela to try to pull people to the Cloak ult. Because the problem is now, Flame was living in these Cloak ults. Now their strategists are kind of getting online, and They need to find some way to pull them out of these cloak holds if they're not going to get combos off, right? And Delena's going over to Star-Lord now. Maybe they play aggressive with this sort of engage, but again, they don't have Magneto to support the Star-Lord, and the comp becomes a little bit disjointed compared to Sentinels, who, again, already have the Glortrox.
You can see Usher with another ult available here. And there goes the Galactic Legend from Delena after the switch is looking for some value. Crystals get pulled out, which is always a smart play in cooldown there by Flame in the backline. Done that multiple times now, not needing to commit anything. Great communication by Sentinels to not overplay there with Dongmin in that Meteor M, which is also a decent answer. Usher with a huge Glortrox once more is able to find at least one. Yes, make it two now onto Winnie and Self. Usher cannot be stopped right now, and this is why you cannot allow this pick to go through.
Yeah, I mean, oh god, it's brutal, man. Like, TTK has Psylocke ult, they have also that Groot ult in combination. But again, they use immediately popping the Psylocke, or the Phoenix, or sorry, Star-Lord alongside the Soul Resurgence from Self, and it just does not get value due to this engage of Sentinel. So Sentinel's playing a lot better now with the movement and the positioning they're given. Probably going to try to stall out this fight a little bit longer, though. Maybe Rye's going to pop his ult, help disengage Vinny, or Crimzo just gets a big string the prison.
You see Rye Amazing with the Rage of Ultron in the sky. Still holding firm at the moment. Going to heal up Kurova. In dire need in that moment. Committed an ult for an ult. Fine trade there as Ultron, gains all relatively quickly here. Triggering Prison is big. Answers with the crystals. Can they burn them quick enough? Answered right back into the sky. That is an even bigger answer, but a great Ironwood wall to slow the pace. And they are constantly countering each other here back and forth, playing checkers at this moment as Winnie engages heavy with another answer. Flame going to do the same right back. And there will be another stall, but Delena at least finds one onto Kurova in the chaos.
I mean, I like the Moon Knight mix-up, at least that they're playing hard front to back. Also, they have advantage in strategy ult department, just walk into these cloaks. So, okay, Usher just finds Delena in the middle of his team. What a pick-off.
And uses those cooldowns to stay up on a height as Millennia now finds Crimzo. We'll put 100 Thieves now up in a number, walking forward as they see Dongmin there with the portal.
Weasel.
See, in a moment now. Will this land? And it does once more. Come on now. Goes over the cart, into a wall. Goodbye as Usher finds two. Crimzo and Rye Amazing will clean up the rest, and overtime ticks down. That will do it on the attack. Well done, Sentinels, on the defense.
Yeah, excellent hold. Sentinels get the job done on second phase, and for 100 Thieves, that's a brutal one to watch. I mean, that was a long hold for Sentinels. They still have a chance on defense. I don't know, am I overreacting? I feel like, what the hell does Emma Frost do in this comp, dude? Like, what the hell does this character do?
Yeah, she's kind of taking a step back in the meta right now. I do think Woods shined with a little bit of love. I think they've seen that, change coming as of in the current client, actually, with a reduction in ultimate to help a little bit, but it's difficult. There's really not a lot you can do. Yeah, there's really not a lot you can attack here.
Yeah, you help set up some of your ults, I guess, but they just could not connect on the opposite sides on really any angle. And then Emma's known as kind of traditionally like a counter dive type character too, right? Like the fact that
counter brawl, a little bit of counter dive, because obviously just one cooldown that really helps, and it doesn't really work great against Venom because Venom has answers and then can escape and pull out an even longer cooldown from you. So, but yeah, with the brawl stuff is great. You can get some charge there off of the Groot walls. I mean, and like you're calling, buddy, I think it's a good switch. TTK going over to that Angela. And Dongmin was showing the Emma, but immediately switched to the Mag. I wonder if that was either a communication they were discussing or just more so a call out of maybe not thinking it's the best pick in this. And, as somebody who plays a lot of Emma, it hurts deep down, but I get it.
For sure. Well, it's a bit sad, too, because I feel like we'd see teams, especially, I know we don't have the Gambit and stuff, but we'd see, we lost, for example, we'll go Self over to the Daredevil probably right now. And I imagine you put Delena over to the Psylocke and you go 2-2-2 dive, right? I know that they have Cloak and they have Loki and Ultron. But they don't have the Mantis, at least, so they don't have a lot of damage output. It could be good. We've seen dive succeed excessively on this map.
Yeah, and if you're going to go dive, you kind of have to do that, stally dive with Cap, where you just have him play on point while you're diving, because it's very difficult to find a lot of success with dive on, a bunker-type situation on point. But, yeah, you absolutely can do that with the stall, and they have that in the bag, too. I think Vinny plays a pretty mean Cap. But either way, electing to not do it right now. Sentinels on the attack. Thieves need to step up. They've done it before. Can they do it again? Sentinels could be up 2-0 if they make this work out. Only pushing this point a point and, a little bit more, about, 3/5, but, or 4/5, I guess, as we see now. Millennia staying on that height, does have the BRB available too.
Yeah, they did the thing that I was kind of thinking that TDK's done in the past, where he just goes over to the Angela. And this time they lose a lot of space, though. He's going to get a pool maybe onto somebody. He needs to find so many high-value pools and not get KO'd. Sentinel's still walking up, though. Close to that copy already. Delena goes for the Soul Bond early. They want to sustain this fight a little bit longer as Melania is coming up on that Rocket Raccoon. See ya in a moment.
Huge play there by TTK, though, and it is going to be combined, but right into Crystals, and you better get value now, as Yusher turns it, though, and is able to find Winnie right there, but the res comes through onto Winnie in that moment. Nobody goes down with all that commitment. Flame going to start up now with the Bond moving them forward. The Sia's out, but it goes goodbye real quick-like, as Yusher's holding on to that Glartrox, and we've seen it before. Can it happen again? And we see some follow-up there. Goodbye once more to Vinny on that Strange in the Glartrox. What do you know? It's absolutely massive again in the cleanup of Winnie and TTK. But Delena gonna bring everyone back, saying this comp ain't dead just yet.
Oh, but Dongman has the ult in a second, dude. No ult in the opposite side. Vinny's gonna have to block it. You know, the synergy is not there, too. Maybe if they Rocket Raccooned into that group, maybe they would have had the damage output. But Dongman ready and waiting. Here comes Crimzo brought in, but is the damage output there to kill them or KO them? No.
TTK can also block in the sky, too. Not a bad answer, you know, and TTK is definitely going to be all over that, so definitely something you can do to stop the Meteor Ram. I'm impressed with the 100 Thieves defense so far, but Flame able to find one there. Res right back again with this Loki getting value. Self falls as well to Dongman. Korova onto Vinny, and speak about a curse. They all go down. Portal play might need to be committed here from Self, who's switching now and will start. Can a touch come in to buy them enough time? It looks like it will from TTK, who pays for it immediately, and I'm not sure they can get there. They can't.
No. Dude, Angel is just so goddamn terrible. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just not good. Like, brother, if we're getting a grab, if you're getting a kidnap on Wolverine, you have the percentage damage to KO a tank. If you're on Angela, that's not going to do anything. Like, I understand that's their answer, that's their solution because Wolverine is banned. But then at that point, you might as well go Daredevil Dive or something. Just get the hell off of whatever the hell that Angela stuff was. It's just not good.
Yeah,
it's good with like Ultron stuff. Like we've seen that Ultron, you know, everybody plays flyers in the sky with the like Human Torch. But right now, look how many Ultrons have little side ship. They just have such a huge edge now in second phase.
Yeah, something woke up with Sentinels yesterday. They are looking consistent, and I actually do like the comps they're coming out the door with. We can't say the same for Thieves right now. And, you know, it's just a question of what they've been running, I guess, in the past. And that Meteor Ram does not land. Or, excuse me, the Strangling Prison doesn't land, but the Meteor Ram does, as Dongman gets two there. And Millennia going to try to drive this backwards, but up numbers now, forced out ultimates. It's again in Sentinel's favor here, as we see another answer Strangling Prison, Ironwood Wall to try to block that and buy some more time, but they're so close here to pushing this through. Yusher keeping the damage out. Meteor M up in the sky, hiding behind the walls. A great answer just naturally in that neutral. And there's Millennia with a nice ultimate there to bide even more time as Vinny's able to come back, and that is a huge retake there from Thieves.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, their solution is, well, now to pull out of that Cloak Ult. Galena with like reset, 4 resets. Jesus. Yeah. That's gross, yeah. And, I mean, like, at least with the damage boost, maybe the Bucky can get some more value in that regard. They can string a few fights together as long as you, like, pull people out of these Cloak Ults and stuff. They just need something to kind of deal with it. And then this is their answer, as well as the Meteor M coming through from TTK, who switched to Magneto. I think that's also a better swap.
Yeah, my thought is if you're kind of forcing them onto this cloak comp, why don't you put TTK on that Magneto, right? Because, like, yes, granted, there can be bubble. Your team can burn bubble. You can't have a conversation where bubble's down in the moment. They are running double there with the Loki, right? So you have 2 opportunities to shut it down, and TTK is so good on that hero. It's not a bad decision, but we'll see now as things continue to progress forward. And again, they're just not running Vanpool either. I'm not sure how I feel about this, but this new comp is definitely better than what we've seen so far.
Absolutely. I mean, fight starts off here. Self does have that Soul Resurgence. Maybe play it slow. Korova goes in with the ult. Can he get pulled out by Delena? On the opposite side, nope. He gets the fade off. Does get pulled, but walks back in, so he's still alive. Rudolph, by the way, disengaged, so Lyson disengaged. But no, okay, Glartrox takes him out. Cloak Ult on the right side, but nice job. The Cloak Ult saves everybody in that Glartrox. Excellent work from Winnie. But can Vinny, after all of this, hit the Groot ult, or is Dongman going to eat it?
Yeah, it's going to be very important. I think Dongman's been holding that. Saw an opportunity there to make a play, but didn't, as Dongman now holding on to this Meteor M could be game-winning, folks. If you're a Sentinels fan, you want to see something now. Thieves, this compositional change has absolutely worked for them. Amazing in the sky, bubble out. Rage of Ultron, does that get value? Up goes the Meteor M, tries to counter. TTK out of Yusher is massive here for Thieves, who have a minute left on the clock. An answer back from Korova onto Vinny off the back of the Meteor M could be even more valuable now, as they're so close to this point. Delena gonna reset for days. The Kraken impact 1. Do we see it again? And that's a good block there, even though it does land a little bit. It's not gonna be another again in that moment. And both teams are gonna stall out for the current set of pace. Vinny now is gonna start up with the portal to get back to point. And Thieves are still holding this thing right now.
I mean, Flame has copy. There we go. Goes for it this time. I thought maybe Delena would get the hook there, but now we don't have any straddles at all. Vinny falls. Does anybody else go down too? I mean, they have no straddles on the opposite angle. TTK as well. And with 30 seconds left, yeah, that's everything. It's done. Sentinels win this map and are now on map point over 100 Thieves.
Yeah, I think they found their solution too late, in Sentinels just kind of making the right switches at the right time and looked very, very solid, not only on defense there in point two, on their defense, but on attack as well. But, you know, I do think Thieves, like, once they made those switches and they went to a more traditional comp for what they're comfortable with, it looked good. I just don't know maybe why we're not running the Van Pool. I think it's on the table for your team there, and I don't know. I think it could have looked solid.
Maybe, yeah. I think there's definitely some interesting features there. Actually, no, wait. So I think they got it through, and then the Wolverine got banned on the opposite side. So regardless, you're right. Yeah, they could have. But regardless, it's kind of interesting because the only real maybe weaknesses of Sentinels, for example, was like Flame being a little too late with these ults sometimes, getting picked off. Stopped happening towards the end, dude. And then after that, 100 Thieves collapsed.
Yeah, I mean, even through that, Flame coming out on top with 41K, which is evening Winnie there, both on, evening out, with Winnie. But we will see what happens again. It is game, set, point, match here for Sentinels, who could 3-0 100 Thieves, folks. Keep it locked right here. We'll be back right after this break.
Hello and welcome back. Sentinels up in the series 2-0. They find themselves a match point in this all-important series in order to stay alive in this lower bracket. And guys, honestly, I'm like, annoyed is not the right word, disappointed. I feel like 100 Thieves are overthinking this. I think they're trying to be too cute with it. They're trying to do too much. I think they could, like, Vanpool was available. You guys touched on it at the very end there. Like, there was no reason not to go there. I don't see, like, the value they had there. Mantis, like, why is Self not just playing DD? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I think that's a good call out. I think, you know, seeing Selv's DD over the past few weeks has been a testament to his super strong DD play, right? Like if you use TTK's Vanpool, which is also going to apply a lot of pressure to that back line and help distract while DD does his thing, that's a great synergistic combo, especially on attack. Don't elect to run it. Again, we're not there behind the scenes. We're not there in the scrim, so I don't know what I'm missing from that, but I do think it was definitely an option they could have used, and just not able to find that success. Dog, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because they had the Wolverine ban against them at the beginning, and, you know, I feel like at that point into that group matchup specifically, especially if the other team's not going to play the Wolverine, like you would assume that, okay, we want to play the group stuff, we'll try to make it work. But their pullouts, everything, they're trying to, like, disrupt the Cloakles was just not there, and yeah, at that point, I kind of want them to mix it up, maybe apply more pressure. I mean, these Loki Cloak comps do seem really tough to play against and might actually be, like, the full-on meta at the end of the day, but I mean, regardless, I just feel like their options at removing people out of the Cloak Holes was just not viable.
Yeah, I do love how much we saw of Cloak and Dagger in the playoffs. Just made this new resurgence. Also, what's up with the Buckies? Like, what's happening? Is that Energy's fault? Is that just like the blueprint he set yesterday? And everyone is like, hold on a second, could we? Should we?
I think there's go ahead and speak to it, Doug. I'm curious what you think about it.
Well, no, I mean, it's like the Bucky definitely provides like solid damage and stuff, but it's again, it's kind of coming down to like they need something to remove them out of the Cloak Hole, and you know that's really it, because like it's just such a huge giant fruit roll up on the map when a Turtle Bond comes out, and like the only way to get rid of people in that is either with Anti if you're like Venom with Feast of the Abyss or something, or you play the Bucky, I guess, with the Angela, but those are just not as good as like Wolverine, for example, because the Wolverine not only has a grab that pulls you super far away, but also actually has the damage potential to follow up on it compared to like Angela. So Angela kind of lacks that damage that the Bucky provides, but Bucky's bionic hook just does not pull you as far out of the ultimate against these pro teams.
Yeah, I think we're seeing more of that Bucky stuff too, just because, like, or at least we saw it there from the Team Liquid Citadel because of that. We talked about that Rush, like, brawl comp that they run over there from we lost. And into that, it's a pretty decent answer because it's all about just CCing and dealing large chunks of damage to the big, like, Vanguard front lines, like Hulk. So it's more successful there. Yeah, I like the, you're right. I think that was the idea, was to pull him off Cloak, right, Dog? And that is a good call out. And Delena played pretty well on it. I think it started working actually better once he made that switch, but it just wasn't enough, or maybe it was just too little too late.
Yeah, now, of course, 100 Thieves once again, map pick for them. Where should they take us here, Dogman?
Well, I mean, they have a few options, I think, in their back pocket. I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised to see something like Midtown, maybe even versus Sentinels. I know they picked that map up before in the past, but I mean, I still think they struggle at points on it. I mean, I think you could play well on it. There's a few different options, or I guess no, they can't go to Midtown. Just kidding. It's a Convergence map. Maybe Spider Islands then, I guess, or not Spider Islands. Holy crap.
Central Park, yeah.
Yeah, Central Park for sure, or Shin Shibuya. But yeah, maybe you're right about Central Park. I think you're more on the money than me there, Shib. I
mean, that's still a guess, because right now, I'm not sure what they want to do. They're doing things that I didn't expect from them in terms of composition. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what their thought process is. I think you nailed it, Zoe. They're thinking a little too much. They're trying to be too crazy with it when they could just run a traditional strong comp right now and look great.
Let's talk about what's going right for Sentinels. They do get to play into their comfort. They do get to play kind of what they want to play, right? Like, they do get that triple strat through, and they just seem to be at ease. The other teams managed to, like, force them into a 2-2-2 situation, which, quite frankly, Sen didn't look bad in either. But what's going right for Sentinels?
I mean, I think there's a lot of things going right. I mean, they've shown the flexibility to play those rogue compositions that they kind of were weak on before. They've been constantly improving. And then it's kind of been the opposite for 100 Thieves. I think that everybody thought, they were like, okay, this team maybe is back. Maybe they're going to start playing good again. No. Okay, apparently not. And for Sentinels, the flexibility gaps have been kind of solved. They still are somewhat having issues, I think, in the Stratus line sometimes. Like, I would prefer if there was, like, less mistakes in that department. But they're still playing a lot better across the board, and I think there's something to be said about, Korova as well coming in over Mir. I think that was definitely something a lot of people talked about for a very good reason.
Still 100%, actually. That's crazy. That's a good call out, buddy. Still 100%. That is disgusting.
I do love that. Love that for Korova. Love that for the team as well. What a great turnaround this preseason for Sentinels. But let's see. This is not over yet. It's a best-of-5 series. A lot can still happen. That said, though, there's match point for Sentinels. Can they make it a 3-0 statement here against our 100 Thieves in the lower bracket? I would love to see that.
All right, and we will be heading in a moment here. Symbiotic Surface is going to be just a fun one. I mean, this is last time we saw, Sentinels look really good here too. So it's a little tricky. I'm not sure exactly what the thought is, but it's going to be a doozy to watch. We can see now the float of Stratpool. But, I don't know if that means that they want to run that Vanpool. Maybe start off Strat to build up some charge or some experience, and then make that switch. But we're going to see the removal, which I had no doubt. Goodbye to that Elsa.
I think every team is starting to pick that up a little bit more. If they, by the way, both Elsa's banned this time, not protecting the Loki as the side of 100 Thieves. Going to take advantage of the Gambito in this fight, but... it's going to be interesting to see because, like you mentioned, I think teams are picking up this Strat pool at the very beginning first fight with TPs. Definitely going to see that a lot more just because it builds ult so fast. But obviously, Vanpool also can build ult. They could fall back and build it as well. But that's definitely been kind of something both teams are doing. 100 Thieves, though, picking this map and then picking attack, trying to set the tempo there versus Sentinels, who are looking better and better, especially against this sort of mirror composition that 100 Thieves have been playing into. They're not trying to mix it up and are sticking to their original game plan, Shib.
Yeah, 100%. And just to call it, I think attack is good. Oh, and you can see the Mantis removal and the DD there. The side of Sentinels making sure that now Self can't run that pick, and they are going to lock in that Rogue. See, this is just their new style, dude. They really have expanded their horizons of their composition literally since a few days ago, right? and that is crucial. Being able to adapt like that is a sign of a team that's going to excel here in Ignite. So I'm looking forward to seeing this comp being run again.
Yeah. I mean, I am as well, and I think I agree that sure, like the Daredevil is tough to play against the Loki, and that's why maybe now that the Lokis are banned, you could play it. But that's a smart ban, I think, by them, right, to get ahead of the curve. But, this is another one of those things, maybe they're getting too cute with it for Sentinel side, whereas maybe you're predicting something that 100 Thieves weren't even planning to do, because now the Mantis is not one-sided. It will be in the side of 100 Thieves once more.
Yeah, so we will likely see that triple backline being run, but with the Mantis does enable things, definitely, although we've seen it before, not necessarily work out for them. It's a new map, a new mode here, and those who are rooting for 100 Thieves, you better lock in right now. It's their lives on the line for this preseason. But folks, remember, the seasons are ever changing. The metas are ever changing. So if this may not be a team's meta now, you don't know what's going to happen once things move forward into our new patches, especially once Black Cat gets involved. I'm looking forward to that. And again, for those who don't know, that patch, just to kind of hit the nail on the head, is not currently available for these pros, so they're playing off of the last patch.
All right. I mean, we'll see the TP play come out first, probably, but, a lot is left open now for 100 Thieves after that Rogue ban comes through. They get the Mantis, first of all, but they can play Doctor Strange Invis because they got that one-sided matchup as well, and that's always tough. But I guess 100 Thieves haven't shown that they could play that to a super high level. There's a lot of interesting decisions now for 100 Thieves. I think they kind of have a decent ban phase here straight up, but it's a matter of can they take advantage of it, especially in the tank line too, and Sentinels. On the defense, they want to close out over 100 Thieves, obviously keep up their storied franchise's success in these playoffs. And for 100 Thieves, this would be an early exit if they're out, especially with how they looked in the past couple of days. People started to build up expectations again. But there's a lot on the line, I think, for 100 Thieves now to try to come back in this series, as they are down 2 maps already, and this could shut them out of the playoffs in our preseason.
Yeah, you and I both like seeing series go far, so we got to see if 100 Thieves can lock in right now, because right now they do not seem to be. Sentinels are up right now. I would say that they definitely changed their pace a little bit, their momentum on defense. They started to look more like themselves. Maybe that will bleed into this map. The Sentinels are holding on the defense. You can see that Rogue in play, and Crimzo's on that Vanpool, which I think is a smart play.
It is for sure, to take advantage of the situation that you were given playing the 3 Vanguard line. I think Sentinels also love to play triple Vanguard. I know they haven't played it so far today, but definitely enjoying it. Portal's plays coming out on the outside from TTK. Towards the point, actually, just to zone out this point, kind of control it, get that anchor on, and try to walk up and then block off the Stratus. But it's forcing out cooldowns at the very least. Crimzo's built up that Vanguard Deadpool ultimate.
You know what? I messed with that. That's pretty big brain there from TTK. Shout out to the portal wall, but didn't last too long, and they retake quickly. Right, amazing actually over here on the Rogue. Didn't catch that in my at the moment, but Dongmin able to find one, and that's a big pick as the second comes through. Right, amazing out of TTK. Right, really can play it all as the triple comes in after the commitment of the portal. That portal will come back at the very end. It's a 3-minute cooldown, using that in it, ending like just seconds before that 3-minute mark means they can have it for OT should they be able to touch.
Yeah, I know they've been doing it in scrims, but just haven't been able to play it because it keeps getting banned out in terms of the rogue and the specific matchup that they get. But all three of these Vanguards pump out insane damage. Self now going over to that Wolverine because it was unbanned in this round. But obviously, first fight going for Sentinel's way off of Crimso's ultimate. We're already 2 minutes off the clock. Meanwhile, Stratus ult's built. We'll see for 100 Thieves side, though, if they can go aggressively with Delena and get a pick.
You can see Delena now on that offside angle does have the end song available. The bird is the word, as that instead the boundary gets committed. Self on that Wolverine. We talked about the storied tale of Self on Wolf is really good. Right, amazing able to find one on a Winnie though to trade it back. Self close to ultimate as Kurova now starts up. And there it is, the bird up in the sky, biding more time, allowing them to push in, pushing eyes upwards. And now you land, once they're distracted, bang, comes in, but does not seem to get too much value. The combo from Vinny, able to find Kurova though. And now 100 Thieves should be able to get this point moving, but the question is, will the touch come through? And is that portal gonna be here? It is.
Portal here, Rye gets stunned out wall there. Rye also falls super low because of the Wolverine, who has ult ready to go on the backside. Flows him into the health pack, nearly at it. And Flamemate Usher both fall afterwards. And all this is snowballing after Crimso, outside of that Cloak and Dagger, Eternal Bond, went down. One after another, they're falling over. 100 Thieves. Look like around the Wolverine invigorated due to the fact that we were talking about this in EU as well. In EMEA, Wolverine's been such a force and such a dominant character, strong one to play against, and Sentinels don't really play it. See how they change it up on the defense second phase.
Yeah, I think Wolves in a great space right now. That change to alt, for those who maybe don't know, you can actually alt into vertical walls. So you don't always have these weird restrictions where you feel like you can't grab as many enemies as possible. You can essentially lift up a ton and then send them horizontally right into the wall in front of you to deal a ton of damage quickly and have them land while you continue the damage. But yeah, that has definitely helped. We see here the high side is owned by 100 Thieves, and this is what they're looking for, right? They want to play up here, maintain that height, and that's another pick from Vinny, who's on that tried and true pick. Group GOAT, if you will. The tackle comes through from Rye Amazing, as just steps out of that CC immunity location for a brief moment. Self. Oh, big eye here. It's massive from TTK as they're able to clean up one from it. Can they do more? They can. Well done, TTK now on the Strange.
Yeah, they need to wipe quickly now if they want another fight for Sentinels. Excellent work from 100 Thieves. Self on the Wolverine. You can see why they banned it out last map. It's interesting they didn't in this one just because of the fact that they wanted to run triple Vanguard anyways. So having to deal with Self on the Wolverine is always going to be a force to be reckoned with, as well as 5 ultimates for 100 Thieves side. Sentinels need to find something here. And they're engaged.
Yeah, Delena able to take out Dongmin early on is a good start there for Thieves, who do get this point, even through the commitment there. Wow, Millennia going to start them up with that Raging Royal Flush, and that's enough to get them moving forward. I believe Flame committed it there too, did actually. Not able to get to the point to touch. That is a mistake you cannot make at this stage in the competition if you want to keep your dreams of taking this preseason home alive, and they cannot make that work. Look at Thieves right now. 3 ults up and available. Crimso, I don't know if I love the thing pick into these group compositions, but they do have enough damage to potentially burn through, but they're going to rely on Dongmin kind of being on that damage wall break composition as well, or at least idea.
Yeah, Rye does slow down the Groot at the very least, but he's able to fall back, and as you mentioned, the clobbering time gets blocked. TDK jumped in the sky with the shield, able to avoid it. Only Vinny gets hit. Here comes that Eternal Bond afterwards. We don't have any other strategist ults for 100 Thieves side, so at least they fall over now. But they're going to have to keep stringing fights together, like you said, the thing being the only real counter to the Wolverine, and even then, this Groot has been just kind of hard walking. Nice job, though, to find these stagger picks towards the spawn. Nice.
Yeah, that's true. You got to call out the Wolf, right? You see Self getting a ton of value. You know Self has ult from ult tracking. That's a decent switch for that reason. That does make sense to me. The damage coming through, they really don't have too much poke besides Delena, so this can actually work. This is the first time in a bit that I've seen this almost panic thing. Instead, it's more so actually a pretty decent answer to what they're running at the moment. They might have to counter back by Amazing. A nice tackle there. The Rogue Amazing's able to find Vinny early on as Millennia trades that back onto Dongmin, who tries to ult backline there. Doesn't make that work for long. There's a plenty of ults available for both sides. Self, Vinny, TTK, Delena shortly, Millennia, Amazing, Flame, Usher. Everybody can press the Q button shortly.
And they're playing it slow at the moment. Comes that Heartbreaker. Self throws out the ultimate, connects onto 2 with the Eye of Agamotto. That's them all removed. Wow. So much damage coming down range, even through Sentinels engage. All going to go down on the cart, but 2 minutes left to go for 100 Thieves. Actually, not too many ults had to be used either against Sentinels, who committed just their Deadpool ult.
And we can see the reset here now. Thieves do have ult advantage. This is their time to take this before Flame can ult, but he will get ult very quickly. Flame does a good job of playing safe in these moments, and yeah, it's already coming through. So we're going to see hard commitment here in a moment from both sides. It's going to be reactive, and typically when you're on defense, you want to answer that gambit. Yep, and there it is, the answer right back from Flame. We see up in the sky, waiting for a big Groot opportunity is Vinny. Crimzo with the first punch, though, onto Vinny. After using that ultimate, checks it to the face, and it doesn't matter. That's a 2-for-1 trade in terms of ult and KO. Delena finds Amazing, though, to try to turn this back in their favor. Hits the sky and lands down. Excuse me, Yusher now onto Millennia there. Flame trying to find some value on the chase onto Delena, and Will. Nice work there, back and forth, both sides, putting it all on the line. And now ult advantage is going to go over to Sentinels.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but the 100 Thieves, they're actually winning a few fights. This is a hard one on third phase, especially with Yusher playing that well. I'm a little surprised, I think, for the side of 100 Thieves, or not side of 100 Thieves, side of Sentinels, that they didn't, opt for maybe even Luna and Gambit backline, only because you are playing kind of front-to-back style. Also, they could pull you out of your own Eternal Bond. Early ult from Dongmin, try to slow down the attack of 100 Thieves. Maybe he resulted in a pick, though. Big ante on to basically everybody.
Yeah, and some more commitment comes in right now as Korova walks them forward with the Eternal Bond. Crimzo with the clobbering time. Not sure it landed on much, but instead drives everyone backwards. Thieves doing an incredible job avoiding multiple ultimates there and just kiting. Notice just losing Winnie in that fight in terms of ultimate charge, trading it for 3. That is a huge trade for Thieves as they start up now, dropping in and coming in hot. Answers are available here for Sentinels, though, with Amazing and Yusher, and it's all about those two right now. Can they make this work on the back of this huge Raging Royal Flush from Millennia?
Oh, nice push away. I mean, that slows down Rise Heartbreaker. Delena also finds Crimzo in the middle of the fight due to the fact the thing kind of caught in the open. So opening pick, like you said, Raging Royal Flush allowing itself to do that. Amazing falls, has ultimate available as well. 2 down for the Sentinel side. Okay, wait, last stand doesn't get anything. Dongman dodges it on the outside, or was it the cleanse that kept him healthy? Regardless, Flame still trying to pocket him, can't. Delena finds him over the skybox, though. Here comes Yusher, waiting for it, trying to dive back onto a backline, find the gambit, but cannot. The heals are there to keep Delena alive as well. And right now, 100 Thieves are walking down the rest of Team Sentinels as the Raging Royal Flush enters too late.
Thieves doing a good job, though, finding Crimzo, who's trying to stall. Vinny able to find one TTK again, and they will push this thing all the way in OT. That is going to be Thieves ensuring they guarantee overtime.
Excellent disengage, as you talked about, Ashib, in the third phase, just waiting on ultimates, biding their time, trying to bait them out. Sentinels on their side, maybe you would have assumed that they would have more people in position to engage off of those. Obviously not. It's the tough part when you can't play Wolverine into your team, right? Like, considering what they're doing for 100 Thieves side, it would be nice if they would have played, especially versus a group player on the opposite, side. But, for Sentinels on their engage, on their offense, they might have a few choices in their back pocket, obviously. 100 Thieves, same thing. They look really good with the Wolverine, right, Chib? Like, this seems like a good mix-up.
Yeah. Dude, this is what we wanted from them, right? Like, we wanted to put Self on a duelist role. Allow Vinny to go back to the tried and true, something like Groot, which works on these maps that have been available. Have TTK play, the story. He's great on Strange. I don't think Vanpool's a bad option either, but at this point, electing not to do that, because I think portals are really strong here on point 1, so that's the idea. They had some use with it, didn't get a ton of value, but so it was a decent idea. It's just a better composition for them as a whole, and I think it's working out for them in spades, exactly like we kind of assumed. But I do think everything was off the back of what you called out, again, was them just kiting those 3 ultimates.
Yeah, that was a huge play, huge maneuvers, and, for you, Sentinel's side, I saw Yusher, I think, hovering the Psylocke. I actually wouldn't mind that, or the Daredevil. But it just feels like the Phoenix, it just slows these comps down a little bit. I understand the Phoenix is still good, but we saw earlier what happens when you give up on the Phoenix, for example, with, we lost. You just go for those hard engages, hard ints like you want to do. But the thing is kind of slowing down this comp a little bit. Like, you have a Rogue that wants the hard engage too, but not the follow-up from anybody, really. It's a bit awkward for Sentinel's side. We'll see if they can mix it up on their attack.
Yeah, you can see Yusher there on the Punisher. This might be one of the few second times maybe that we've seen Punisher in these comps, but does a good job at burning those Groot walls, and that is going to be the job here for Yusher. Just force Vinny off Groot, go hard damage, and allow your team to walk. And we'll see if it works out for Sentinels here. But again, these comps are just seeming like, old seasons.
Yeah, I mean, we really can't play Wolverine, guys, at all. It's just interesting. But TDK goes down. Nice job from Ride, a kick in the face. And that's going to result in 2 people falling immediately.
Yeah, they're going to try to portal touch this, but there's a lot of CC available here for Amazing to try to stall. They're both looking in either side here, and they will get this point instantly. Sentinels took that 3-stack with, a great assault. They're bouncing right back with a vengeance here, as we're going to see what happens on this next take. Winnie does have ult available, though.
Yeah, we'll see if 100 Thieves react. I mean, the thing is with the Punisher, It'll be a bit harder to make it work, I think, when these angles kind of come through. Not as many straight lines, I think, for Yusha to get a lot of shots down range. And for TDK, it might force him to switch over to Magneto. But here comes the combination of Ritual Flush and the Final Judgment.
Wow, Yusha with 2 now. Kurova finds Self through the chaos. That's another pick there. Make it a quadro, why don't you, Yusha? Who can apparently play it all. Great take there off the back of the combo. And that's another really strong combo, right? You use that Raging Royal Flush with that Judgment. And next thing you know, everyone is deleted. Folks, you deal 30% additional damage based on every bit of damage you've done every 0.5 seconds. That's kind of how that works. As we see TTK portal right in to try to stall this and guarantee another fight should they win this fight or lose this fight. We see Delena, TTK, everybody popping ults. Who gets more value? I seems to land, and it's big as Self and TTK clean up 2, and that could be enough to buy them enough time here as Amazing starts with a Heartbreaker.
Yeah, he does kind of come back in this fight, slowing down ultimate charge as well, making sure Vinny can't get off that Grudom. He's just getting absolutely shredded, but they're still getting pocketed. Nice heals from Millennia, eventually going to go down. But Rai kind of opens the door back for Sentinels coming back into it, so they're going to use the Meteor M. Self still has ult afterwards if they don't go down. Nice dodge, comes back with that Galactic Legend in the sky, but he's low HP. He needs to get pocketed, so he can't go probably too far. Nice Groot though from Vinny. Oh my god! They all got stunned in it. Excellent follow-up.
You know what, folks have said, by the end of preseason, whoever has the biggest crude ult, I'll buy their skin for Vanpool. You know what? I think right now it has to be that. That was a 5-stack there from Vinny, which cleaned up everyone else. Really smart decision to buy some time, but again, there's so much time on the clock here for Sentinels on this attack.
Yeah, TDK still doing a lot, I think, on this Invisible Woman combination with Doctor Strange. If they can keep that up, that's big. I wouldn't even mind him to switch to Magneto, but 3 minutes and 35 seconds in the Streets phase is still a decent time bank for Sentinels to work with. Maybe they can get that Raging Roll Flush. Final Judgment for Yusha, but here's a quick engage from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, coming in hot as TTK finds one out of Kurova. Flame able to take out Self, though, to trade that a little bit. A Strat for a Duelist. Which one's more valuable? I'd say a Strat as TTK drops Dongmin. And that's another pick here for Thieves who are locking in. And TTK on this Strange is looking built different right now. An absolute raid boss with his team up.
And still holding on to ults. Nice early engage by the side of 100 Thieves, but they did use the Invisible Boundary. They also commit the Phoenix Ultimate in the previous fight, whereas Sentinel's not really using anything. But again, their big engage this upcoming fight is going to be Yusha and Flame, right? At least they don't have to worry about the Invisible Boundary on the opposite side, but that means 100 Thieves might want to play it differently and maybe melt Yusha in the middle of the fight. Quick TP from Crimzo, by the way.
Commitment comes in now. Portal onto the high ground. Winnie does have ult. Or excuse me, TTK does have ult available. Kurova and Flame able to start now. And they're using that Raging Royal Flush combination with Yusha once more. Goodbye to Vinny immediately. Making it 2. Yusha, do I see more with a 3-piece? We do, as we lose Self and another as a quadra. Oh my goodness, Yusha. Somebody stop this man who almost finds all 6. Absolutely disgusting on this attack.
No, the fuel is being added to the fire, to the flames. Too many Punisher means being said, or sorry, too many people in social media saying Punisher is bad or is OP. You can see Yusha getting insane value from it. Again, I just want to see TK maybe switch over to that Magneto to help peel it off, but at least that ult's gone. Dongman though finds Vinny.
Oh, more commitment. Wow, TTK able to find a triple Self back. Oh, they do take it. Wow, that's unlucky, but that was clean play. Very clean play.
Yeah, I mean, that was interesting. I mean, they went in with Original Flush. That's the thing, is that it's like kind of Mantis damage boost, gives TTK the damage output to get the KOs, but...
No, I mean, by Sentinels, honestly, right? Like, just get on that point, not even worrying about it. Like, that's the only focus. It's like, all right, go ahead. Use whatever you got, I guess.
Yeah, they've been playing it well so far, playing the macro. Here's Delena, by the way, to hard flank. Goes all the way towards their own spawn, goes for the ultimate. Cloak and Dagger, actually used by Kurova in the middle of that to just go towards that cart. They're going to try to flip map, probably, as Rai actually tries to chase down Delena.
Yeah, Self finds Kurova there. You talk about a pretty decent counter into Cloak. You can land that tackle. Amazing finding Delena, like we're talking about. Ult advantage going to be up here for Sentinels on the attack still. Vinny now has to get off that group.
I mean, this is just like wild though. Like both teams in this like hard flank for Vinny. It makes sense out of him. Rai's just trying to match and mark the flank. But again, Cart's still not controlled by Sentinels. TDK.
Oh, good idea. Oh, still finds one. Even through the fade right there. Great fade, but yeah, it didn't matter. Bubble comes through, more commitment. Wow, Yusha able to find that. As they dip inside of that boundary in that moment, Yusha trying to find a second Crimzo onto Self now. And that will put Vinny in a tough spot trying to hold on. And he goes down from Flame. Winnie trades it with Dongmin. But once more, oh my goodness, the turnaround from Crimzo and Rai now, who had taken control of this point.
Yeah, it's just on the left. They're able to kind of follow through. Excellent work from them. You know, I'm curious. So Self goes over off of Wolf. They go for a quick portal play from TDK, trying to get as many fights as possible, again, like we've seen in previous patches, but it's happening even more so today, trying to maybe force Sentinels to use some ults out of the portal. As 100 Thieves, maybe they have an opportunity to use their own.
Yeah, there it is. Portal on. Korova with a two-piece. Rai able to find Winnie. Yusher is finding value with this judgment every single time off the back of the combo with Flame. And I'm telling you right now, it really does look incredibly strong into Thieves' composition as they don't have that Magneto.
I guess the benefit from Thieves, though, is that they just use the Capel. Vinny switches over to Mag
there
now.
It is. Yep.
But regardless, you got 2 ults out. And also, Crimson used Clover Time. So these 3 in the previous fight, maybe overcommitment from Sentinel's side. You can find some out of Korova. They need to maybe pull somebody or push somebody out of the Cloakle. But Millennia, again, maybe they can get KOs even with the Raging Royal Flush.
Yeah, Royal Flush comes out, match right back by the Eternal Bond walking forward. Yusher able to find TTK. You can't believe it with this shot. He just locked in right now. Answers are both out there. I'll tell you what, Thieves, I thought had the advantage on this defense. They need to retake and have it one more time. It's in final fight territory here, folks. If you want Sentinels to take this, they need to push this to OT on this push. Whole team got to regroup. Great recommit here from the side of Thieves. We're coming back as a 6-stack. You hear the commitment of the Galactic Legend now with Star-Lord on the back line from Self. Does that seem to land value? We're not sure just yet, as it doesn't look like it does.
We're watching the car for a bit there as the Star-Lord ult happens and the Phoenix ult didn't find anything, so at least we didn't miss much. But Delena finds Yusher again, early pick. Nice job to take him out. Pace of play switch up. 19 seconds left to go. Yusher might have to go for the TP out of spawn
this could be huge. TTK's ultimate in this indoor location, using your vertical jump to propel forwards and electing to not think it's needed. Now trying to find that Gambit. If that comes down, as Flame is in a dangerous spot, but he is going to be able to drop back using some of those cooldowns. Self-peel and self-heal. Portal comes through now from the side of Yusher on the OT. Thieves need to clutch this up. Up in the sky goes Dongmin, bang! It does find Delena as they are holding now once more. The attack now has a chance at this up in numbers. Look at Winnie's positioning way on the flank. Now Vinny goes up with the Meteor M trying to find something. Does that land? It does! Answered right back onto a huge pick of the Gambit. It's anyone's game right now.
I mean, also Dongman used the Meteor M before going through the portal, so I don't think they heard the Meteor M coming out until last second. Delena was obviously a bit AFK there.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yusher! He got 2. Gambit Raging Royal Flush on the defensive side too for Millennia, so maybe they can clutch up.
This is anyone still. What a battle there. What an E from Yusher. Still trying to maintain presence on point, TTK. It's looking dicey. Clobbering time does not seem to land. Likely jumped and shielded there by TTK. Veteran move. Has the eye available now once more. And that is going to be committed on the backline. Looking for Invis. It does! What a play there! Onto Winnie. Yusher finds the pick. Can they take this and push this to OT? They will! Wow! What a fight from Sentinels!
Oh my god, this is an insane match, dude. Like 1-1 now. Both teams have a minute back on the clock due to how the overtime rules work. If both teams fully camp out with no time, and that means the 100 Thieves going to go back over to attack first. We'll see if their mix-up is going to be different, but there was a lot of well-timed ults in fights, I think, out of 100 Thieves just at the very end. That hero teleport, I was a little worried because it came out slow too. Like Yusher didn't even pick Doctor Strange fast. Like he was a little late to go for that swap, and also the eventual place down. Like he took his sweet time, but it ended up working out. Like we saw coming through the portal, it's like those Scarlet Witches ship that kind of come through and you can't hear the voice line.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Dongman, I think, because there was no reaction from Delena, who got picked in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, that's big brain, right? Using those ults, I can't remember the exact distance where you can't hear the sound, but Portal pretty much guarantees that's going to be the case. And that was just textbook, lights out there on the attack from Sentinels. And shout out Yusher. What can't Yusher play? The amount of strange work that was done in those fights was next level. Finding 2 early on in point after being down a number, evening the odds, putting it back in your favor, immediately building up to that to the Eye of Agamotto, finding Winnie invisibly over the edge to get that pick was pretty much the swan song for the defensive side of 100 Thieves. And now we are heading to OT, and this is going to be a very difficult mindset to be in for Thieves who need to attack first.
Absolutely, the aggression there was so smart. Portal play on the offense is not going to utilize first. TDK wants to save it for overtime. We're going to walk up with the same comp they were on before, no Magneto, versus the side of Sentinels, who maybe expected Wolverine and had Crimzo on the thing, but obviously he's not.
We're looking now on the retake. Everybody a little nervous. You can see it on the non-initiation. No one wants to give that alt charge to the backline of Gambit, both of which roughly at similar percentages. Millennia going to be slightly in the advance at 30% here. Flame going to be 10% behind. Should have it pretty close. As we see, everybody's just afraid to go down. No one wants to be the first one to go down. Walls are committed now. No Punisher off rip here from either side. Looks like Vinny is doing a good job trying to own that space. Takes a ton of damage and now essentially feeds Millennia on the backline on that alt charge. And now Millennia's at 70%. About 10% over.
Yusha's given so much space. This is usually where we see like Delena kind of come through in the clutch on the off angles, but oh gosh, it's the damage that you talked about. Yusha on defense. They still have to give a lot of space. Also available now for Winnie. They know Straddle first, but okay. He goes down to Self, or Self goes down.
Amazing, doing a great job here, finding one, but takes a ton of damage, and now Vinny able to trade that back. Big value now, a two-piece is Vinny gonna find TTK onto Crimzo, and that will do it here for Thieves attack. They will get this point and get it walking.
Oh my God, I mean, where's our Straddles in that fight, I suppose? Like, too much damage coming on the offense. Kurova getting staggered, obviously, because the cart moves on auto till it gets past this first little doorway. But that's just interesting. They didn't Rage and Roll Flush or anything in the previous fight. They want to go for it now. Now they have ult advantage coming into 100 Thieves.
Portal comes in. They're going to play off that to attack early. They want to ensure that it doesn't get too much space. Very smart play. But it's... Oh, wow, Crimzo. Deletus there onto Vinny. Out goes a big eye of Agamotto. Doesn't find value. Isn't enough. Delena takes out Flame. Delena in the sky now with the end song. Bang! Goodbye goes TTK. Yusher, excuse me. And that should shut it on down as Dongmin gets a pick.
Yeah, excellent re-engage by Sentinels there, but regardless, 100 Thieves capped the first point, got to that location with the portal. Oh my God, it was close. And, you know, maybe going in hindsight, maybe we use the portal first to try to get quicker fights, but they played slow, build Straddles from Winnie. That kind of won the first fight. Offense, though, should, like, does Sentinels mix it up? You know, they're not against the Wolverine anymore. Do we get off the thing, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so, on offense at least, but we'll see what they decide to do in a moment. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge attack from Thieves. Whether, you know, you say, all right, they're barely pushing on point 2, that enables this side of Thieves to have a guaranteed portal fight on point 2, as long as they don't commit portal on point 1, which I don't anticipate happening with a minute. Which means they have a chance, no matter what, to stop this. So shout out Thieves, who are looking good right now. You can see Yusher is predicting potentially Vinny on that Groot, and guess what? That's exactly the plan right now for Thieves. And is it too predictable here? Yusher, that could be a big counter and give them enough space for Sentinel's attack to take this home.
They're doing the play, Shib. They're doing the play. They're doing the strat.
Oh, they are. I love it.
Yeah, we're going to see that cheese, you know, real quick TP play in, try to build ult fast, win the fight. As you know, soon as possible. Self trying to predict it though, right? Not going for the Wolverine, going for the Psylocke this time around. It wasn't the Starlord earlier. Don't mind that mix-up, but let's see if Sentinels can take advantage of this quick Stratus ult that we built from Flamme.
And let the games begin. Yeah, oh, it's a little early on the stun. And that is going to give them enough time for the portal. Good idea from Delena. If it was just literally a millisecond later, they have that stun and disrupt this plan. Dongmin playing it safe, though, on the backside. This is going to give guaranteed height. And honestly, this enables Crimzo a lot more here with Thing, because you have this corridor to battle and protect your backline on. And that's the idea of this comp. They just want to play this slow and guarantee they can take this.
I wonder if you just don't shoot, but then it's too late because you have to shoot him on that angle. Build your own ults. Here comes that Bane Hammer on the backside, but can they capitalize? Are they aggressive enough? Looks like they go low. Eventually, they're still in there, but no KO just yet. Everybody's so low. Cooldown's forced down.
Yeah, this is a crazy start right now. Flame used that ult early to stay healthy, but pays for it as Delena now finds oneself. And Delena with a two-piece, stepping up in a clutch moment. Goodbye to Dongmin here, and they might try to stagger Yusher if available. No, they don't even need to. Portal was committed at 7 seconds on. They can't get here. I do not believe, unless this Venom can touch, if they go Venom, and they will not. We are going to see, oh my goodness, dude, another map here. And that's just how it goes with these two teams.
What? This is just crazy. Like, why are we still on the Thing when they're not on Wolf anymore? I don't know, dude. You know, maybe Crimzo likes playing the Thing. I get it. I understand it. But, man, that just was crazy back and forth between both squads. Winnie going to be the MVP in that one. He definitely had the clutch invisible boundary to go aggressively on their attack to enable them, and then also with some clutch plays on defense. Same thing, good positioning with the squad. So 100 Thieves, I mean, they can start something right now. It doesn't matter the mistakes the enemy team made or the mistakes you made. If you could reverse sweep, you've seen it done before so far in these playoffs. It's totally possible.
History doesn't always tell the full story. You just hear the finish, and it's all about who wins here. If Thieves can come back, that would be insane. But I will say, I'm with you. I think the idea of Thieves Comp was running that strat pool, get that ult early because you can essentially bunny hop off your team, ult early, and commit with, hoping that would be enough to keep Thing healthy to walk in and get a clobbering time, which you can farm pretty quick. The idea of their comp was just get ults fast, but it was not. It was just to no avail, I guess, on that attack. But folks, we are going to see what happens as it is a 2-1 situation right after this break.
Once again, we have a series on our hands. Again, there is just something about the two of you casting.
We get lucky. We get lucky. I mean, there's so many good games as well. Like this whole tournament, Zoe. It's been quite the preseason for sure.
Yeah, no, it really has been. Like, those teams refuse to lose. And that's exactly what we want to see in those elimination matches in the lower bracket, right? Let's talk about how they got it done, though. Heading into this map, we did say that we want to see something more traditional coming out of our 100 Thieves, and that's exactly what they delivered. We did see Self back on that duel list. What else stood out that enabled them to get the victory here, Ship?
Yeah, I think, well, one, Delena did great matching up to Yusher, finding more finals, more damage by 100, which is insane. So that matchup was worked out well. Vinny and TTK back on tried and true Vanguards, I think is honestly the reason why things looked more consistent. A consistent 2-2-2 comp. They looked solid doing it, especially in moments of clutch. Big ults from the Vanguards. It just, everybody found their value. And even Self being out on that Wolverine whenever they needed it, that's a threat that's always going to be a problem. So yes, I think Thieves kind of step back into their own there.
I think the only real negative with the 100 Thieves side is, they still kind of made mistakes. Like, I still would have liked to see maybe TTK go over to the Magneto or something. There's definitely debate to be made there with the Invisible Woman team up, but I mean, still, I wouldn't mind it. And also on the opposite side for Sentinels, they looked uncomfortable. I mean, Yusha went over to Punisher of all things. They just really don't want to play Wolverine, and you could keep leading into that, I think. Just keep making them play tough comps to play that like Vanguards that are hard to KO without a Wolverine.
Yeah, I mean, in Yusha's defense, it worked until it didn't work, right? We saw the switch over to Magneto, and then the Punisher was kind of like, meh. But, if you all still find some value there, the switch up just may have not gone quick enough. Also, Rymazing on the Rogue.
Yeah.
I like that, actually. I was a fan. Rogue-mazing, is that what we're going with?
Yeah, Rogue amazing. It was good, really good. 14 finals, 26k damage. I mean, and just the pressure. I shout out Rymazing on that Rogue. It's good to be able to have who also plays Mantis, can really play every single role for that team.
Truly amazing. What a guy.
This game, here's that guy. I mean, he can play everything. Everybody that has the flexibility in this game are really starting to make it towards the latter half of the tournament. Celestial Husk will be the next map, but this is like such a game of, honestly, mistakes almost. Like, it feels like we see teams like Team Liquid, Citadel, and it always is like this. Like, whenever I watch back VODs, I'm just like, okay, you know, how do we lose this fight? That's really the most important question, I think, for every team to answer is what's happening? How are we losing? Is it a comp issue? Is it a player issue? Is it like a location issue? Because even the smallest mistakes are going to cost you these games. And, you know, you can't make mistakes for both teams.
Yeah, I feel like comp issues or like draft issues, like that's an easy fix to some extent, especially when the players have flexibility to like just switch it up. But yeah, when it comes to just like mechanical mistakes, that's just... everyone has to play their best. Everyone has to lock in. You can just not afford it. Not on this level where the other team will pounce. They will pounce on any mistake, any opening they can find.
Yeah, and you got to be clutch in OT. That's huge too. I mean, Thieves looked really good in OT. They walked him. It was just so much pressure. Everybody was, see, that's the downside. I think the weird everybody's hesitant to give Gambit alt charge, right? So everyone plays safe. But the next thing you know, in an OT situation, you're backed into a corner, you lose one, and then you're like, all right, why did we just not deal damage on the way in and try to find a pick? It's tricky, and Thieves definitely took advantage of that. Looked really good.
They really did. And now we're going back to a domination map, obviously, in the best of 5 after the third map. The other map types and everything that hasn't been played so far opens back up again. Domination, I feel like that's something that Sentinels likes to play, though, so it makes sense for them to take us back here.
Yeah, I agree. I think you know, they've done well on the map type before. I think map 1 they've succeeded pretty well in, you know, the specific comp that they're playing. They just need to go back into banning Wolf. I think that was kind of a big reason they started winning the previous maps. Probably just keep getting rid of the Elsa still, and maybe the Gambit comp still going through is fine. 100 Thieves might be, like you mentioned earlier, we're getting too cute with the Loki Protect before. But ever since then, on the last map, I think if they can keep playing Wolf stuff, maybe keep it into the modern meta, which is that composition, they're going to succeed. It's just a matter of not letting the side of Sentinels play their own game.
Yeah, I mean, we could see some stall comp potential out of these teams too. The triple Vanguard line's not out of the question by any means again on Dom, but I do think when you have Cap available, and both of which can play Cap pretty well, the Venom, if you're feeling comfortable on it, Groot's not even bad. I mean, you just want to try to stay on this point as long as possible. Both teams haven't done it better than, I would say, some of these other teams that are in Ignite right now. They don't have the confidence on it, but they do have the potential to run it. That's the weird thing about these teams. Like, they have so much versatility, but it's not like they're just the very, very best of the line right now at any of those comps.
Yeah, it feels like they needed more time. Like, everyone else was just ever so slightly ahead of them, and both 100 Thieves and Sentinels are just like a week behind, or maybe 1.5 weeks behind. Or am I tripping? That's kind of the sense I'm getting here, Dogman.
Yeah, they're making like those small mechanical mistakes that are sort of ironed out through, you know, more playtime, like you said, Zoe. So that is an excellent point, and they can keep improving in that. Like, I was starting to think, like, especially after Museum, I'm like, okay, does this 100 Thieves team need to make changes, especially in the Vanguard department? You know, when we talk about 100 or for Sentinels, maybe changing it up in the duelist department. The fact that we can't play Wolverine is kind of a big deal. You know, or it's like you said, maybe just give them an extra week, maybe just give them more time to figure out those heroes, because these guys are all pro players. They're all good enough, and this is kind of what we talked about. Like, a lot of this game is a confidence thing. A lot of it is believing in your teammates and making the right plays at the right time. Like, that's how teams like We Lost are now into the next round, is through that confidence in not only each other, but the team's game plan.
Did you guys feel like any of the players has been more quiet today versus what we've seen from them previously here in the playoffs?
In terms of quiet, that's tough. That's like a hard call out. You know, it's tough. Maybe Dongmin, I'll say, because Dongmin has looked really good, at least in the last map. because Dominance looked really good on that Strange, on that mag. Didn't get as much value with it. Did a lot of damage, but final department just wasn't as significant. When you look at like TTK with 14, Vinny with 9, it ends it with 5. But that is just finals. At the end of the day, still going down 13 times. So maybe that for that map exclusively. But again, I think it's kind of any given map for these teams right now that somebody's maybe not performing as much. But I wouldn't say Dongmin didn't succeed prior to that, because he was looking great in the 2 maps prior. So it's tricky.
Yeah, I'd probably piggyback off that. I'd probably say like Delena, but also that's because Self's playing so good, right? So, you know, the best players that we saw in previous days maybe just being outshined in other departments.
Yeah, also obviously like some focus onto those players that previously stood out will do the trick. Now I do see that the teams should be ready any moment now, and that means we're heading into map number 4 already. Still match point for Sentinels. Can 100 Thieves tie this one back up and bring us all the way to map 5?
All right, folks, lock in. Here we go again, as I have no doubt we're going to see the removal of Elsa, unless they want... Yeah, okay, I was going to say, you should be a problem as well as the side of Delena, but they might match up again on the Phoenix. That's kind of been the answer. Last time, Delena came out on top in terms of finals and damage. I wonder if that's going to be the case here for Dom, as comps will be vastly different.
Yeah, 100 Thieves definitely have performed better after getting rid of the Elsa. I mean, that's been a problem, and both teams love to play the Phoenix stuff, and that's kind of like my worry is that I don't know, like with Gambit, I understand that Phoenix is good, but maybe I'm crazy. I just like the Star-Lord or even the Psylocke or even Daredevil can take advantage of it a little bit more. But you know, we've seen Phoenix be in the meta ever since even the nerf. She's just such a strong hero, right?
Yeah, she's got a lot of self-sustainability and just peel and movement. Like, she can peel backline with the stun. There's a lot of answers there, but it's like, you know, you could say the same thing for, like, you know, when Gambit's through, Star-Lord's really good, like you're saying. I think he's a great one duelist when you have to run the solo, because can kind of fit, you know, into any comp. Can play more aggro, can dive with that Blaster Barrage, has a really strong ultimate that combines with Gambit, obviously, and then can one-clip if you're solid. With aim, which all these players are at this level. The removal of DD here for Sentinels, I think, is another smart call onto Self, because I think Daredevil on this map particularly, there's a lot of flank angles and height to take.
I think they banned this out last time instead of the Wolf, and it kind of led to being a bit of a mistake for Sentinels, but they do at least get Invis this time. That was banned out at the very end. We'll see what the side of 100 Thieves want to do, because they go for that Rogue Protect last time, didn't fully capitalize off of it. At least if you have the Invis, maybe you can counter the Wolf is in what it's kind of in their head. And then I guess if the Daredevil was less counterable than the Wolf. But still, regardless, I mean, I'm curious if that really enables them, because both teams actually go for the Invis Protect. So are we going to see a similar thing on both sides?
Yeah, and just to reiterate, or just to follow up on what you're saying, to explain, when you have Invis on your team, folks, you can use that force physics to disrupt the tackle there, that feral leap, when you see Wolverine just, you know, hugging somebody and carrying them a mile away. That's the idea there. You won't maybe see it as much as you're climbing the ladder, but at the top it is a big issue for Wolverine as a whole. And does things like counter a lot of those movement cooldowns from Cap, from Venom, from Strange, even getting rid of Eye, but... And it also enables, right, when you have the Invis, you enable your Strange, as we're seeing Dongmin floating that Strange here, which could be a big problem. But we're going to see. I like the comps so far. I want to see what they actually come out of the door on. You can never really see the true comp until the game starts.
Yeah, we'll see as they move it through. But, you know, 100 Thieves need to keep this momentum up, right? Obviously, Sentinels won the first 2. 100 Thieves now winning 1. You know, just one game at a time, kind of string them together, right, Shib? Like, just... need to start getting the momentum back on their favor, because I think they won the last map even despite some, you know, subtle compositional mistakes or, you know, player mistakes, whereas Sentinels obviously lost that in a very similar way. So this should still be a close one, but 100 Thieves, you know, do they start coming back after another Sentinels map pick, considering they've, you know, looked good in days prior, but again are still up and down, inconsistent compared to, you guys brought up earlier, Swamp Gaming and TLC.
I gotta say, I really do think that this start here for Thieves is a good look. This is a really good comp. This is a very solid comp for them. Play more traditional TTK on that Vanpool. Got to get those levels early on, though, before it's starting to become the problem. Crimzo doing the same. Both teams got a pretty decent start in composition here. See whose is more valuable, and both of which are running that Star-Lord. Let the games begin, folks. A placement here as the portal just used as protection for the moment. Gets them onto that point in positioning, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough, as they both will be able to take this spot down on the low side pretty quickly.
Yeah, playing towards that main flank angle is controlled by 100 Thieves with Delena. Both teams want to play this sort of front-to-back style, so I'm curious how, you know, enabled are they by these off angles? How controlled are they on Delena? Like, he just needs to not go down, not die. TTK already with a fast ultimate. Same thing with Crimzo.
Yeah, and they're going to try to make something work there. Likely looking for a level before it's committed, and there is the commitment now. Crimzo trying to do the same. Does not find the value yet on either side. You see here now. Both teams playing a little bit passively, trying to test each other, get a feel for the comps, get those alt charge, that alt charge up. Excuse me. Yusher finds Delena. And that's the first start here for Sentinels. That's what they need to start getting that momentum and move forward. But you can see in the back line, Vinny trying to apply some pressure, gets low in terms of HP, forces out a ton of those cooldowns to move, and Flame gonna walk forward and take out Self. And now Sentinels will get this point early on.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I like the comp. I just don't know. Like, I don't like what 100 Thieves are doing. I mean, they're playing slow. Sentinels were obviously playing slow and looking for Delena. That's what we were saying. Like, the main thing with this comp, especially, is just to kind of live and play your life, and I don't know, like maybe take a page out of Sparker book, rest in peace, now eliminated. But, you know, play that front to back style on the Psylocke. Don't have to force the off angles. I think somebody like Nectar does a similar thing. But different fight. Both teams are going to have the Raging Roll flushes, maybe combinations available for Yusher. We've seen these fights end just as fast as they start.
Absolutely true now. Crimzo gonna put out that bubble. Drop backwards as Yusher's ready for the same. A lot of commitment comes in as Amazing finds one on himself with the combination. Yusher takes out Delena and is on the chase here off the back of that. Oh, flush. That's just going to be a full delete as Amazing finds another Yusher again onto Millennia. And everybody on the Thieves falls down and heads back to the spawn door. 45% in climbing here for Sentinels. Korova, Yusher, Dongmin, Crimzo will be alts in the next fight. With the answers coming in from Winnie and Vinny. Didn't mean to rhyme there. Natural, as Delena also has that dance.
Yeah, it's available, and they need to string some fights together. They need to get something going, man. Like, that last fight, fully controlled by Sentinels at the choke point. Obviously, it's easier on the defensive side. But again, trying to focus on Delena in that last one. Delena goes with the ult. Vinny there to maybe help support it, but they need to get a KO with it, or at least force out Strat ults, and they don't.
And nothing yet, just driving them back into that corner. That's not necessarily a win, because now Stack and be prepared to answer. And there was no commitment yet. As we see TTK and Crimzo both start. Amazing immediately finds Self now. And once again, Rise coming out on top of these early picks, and that's sometimes all it takes. Vinny trying to escape there on the cap. TTK playing off on the right side again. So building towards that experience, but Sentinels already are up 90% on the first map. We've seen stories of comebacks before, excuse me. Will this be one of those tales?
They're going to have to really push it now. Vinny going aggressive, taking so much tracking. They're kind of just getting shot off these off angles. Everybody playing together on Sentinel's side. Captain America ult goes in, but they might get baited into this Phoenix ultimate, which can get rid of all their shields. But he plays patiently, plays it slow. You should have been doing a good job doing that so far throughout the series. I mean, he's just been smart with them. Also not missing a single shot. And everybody in 100 Thieves has been forced back by the Phoenix, as this is probably the best we've seen Yusher on Phoenix so far.
Commitment comes in now as we see Flame able to find one on Winnie. That's a number up as the bird's in the sky. Will that find value? TTK gets very low, but not low enough. Delena at like 100 HP, 2 escapes as TTK, Vinny, Delena are able to find 3. They turn this back, but Rise says it's not over yet. Trying to take out Self, but it's too little too late. They're both just kind of dancing around that natural cover, and 100 Thieves are going to get their first ever percentage on this point on this map.
When he switches over to the Jeff now, so they're on a little bit of a different comp. Millennia going over to that. Well, actually, Winnie's going to be the one on the Luna. Went back to spawn just for the speed boost. But for Sentinel's side, I mean, they do a good job playing it slow. But maybe they play it too slow now. 100 Thieves have control of these angles. We need to not take too much damage from Yusher, but look how hard it is. I mean, this guy just does not miss.
I know, right? This is the kind of aim you dream about. As you can see, Yusher providing that pressure right now, dropping backwards, trying to stop Delena. They're stacking right now as a unit playing around that shield. Great moves there. TTK finds one, but Yusher able to trade that right back into Vinny, who tried to play on top of that Psylocke. Dance of the Cutterfly. Delena escapes after the fact, which is some good movement because everybody was prepared for that, but now the only ults available are going to be TTK and Dongmin for this current moment. Crimzo and is going to be right behind TTK. Flame now there as well. And there it is, folks. Everybody diving in. Crimzo frozen in the moment. Does have that ult. Decides to not use it for now. TTK and Self are going to find those picks, though. Start them up. And once again, Thieves are going to come out on top, but they do not have a lot right now. And still Millennia and Vinny have those ults, but those are 2 answers that can buy them more time on point.
Yeah, they're kind of stringing together, you know, the space as well, provided that Winnie is able to do a little bit more. Also, excellent job to capitalize on those Vanguards eventually pushing up from the pressure the Phoenix provided. Everybody playing these tight angles, these corridors. not giving the LOS towards that Phoenix, and eventually Sentinels were trying to capitalize, push up, take space, but the disengage after that was perfect from 100 Thieves, who are now setting up with another flush and the Star-Lord Galactic Legend, which will be a lot easier to set up on defense, and Sentinels don't have that very same combination. Going to rely heavily on Crimzo connecting on Self in the sky, and maybe Kurova's ult.
There's that invisible boundary now. As we can see, Kurova holding them onto the point, giving them enough space to be able to touch so that it can guarantee OT stays up there in percentage. TTK providing that pressure, and now Thieves are looking locked in as Vinny starts up. Match right back. Invisible. Oh, wow. Ayavagamoto doesn't seem to land and get much value. Crimzo commits. Same with Winnie now and Vinny as Self starts up in the sky. Will that be enough as Amazing answers it right back? But who gets the first pick? That is going to be everything. Yusher with the bird. Going to come down and dunk onto the backline. Bang. Does that get a pick? It does not. Millennia onto Crimzo. Thieves are up in numbers, but Amazing tries to even it out. Flamme does the same, but it doesn't matter. Thieves take this point and come back from a 99 deficit.
And that's a huge win for 100 Thieves, especially on Celestial Hand. That map, I think, is sort of enabling Sentinel's playstyle with the sort of bunker Phoenix comp. But now that we move over to another map, I mean, sure, it's going to be more open, but I think the Strats are not going to be able to bunker as much as they did. Regardless, excellent work from 100 Thieves. The dives coming through perfectly. The Captain America plays out of Vinny have been nice as well. And Sentinels, I'm sure, have to think about a lot after that one, because that's another round loss. At 100 Thieves, you have to be worried now as a Sentinels fan. Are they starting to string together, these games, especially? You were right there, Shib. They had it 99, and Sentinels just reverse sweeped it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just on your mental at that point. That's just on your comms and your decision making at that point, because realistically, you can lose some fights. Your only goal at that point is to force them to use ultimates, so you have an ultimate fight to win. And it seems like they maybe committed multiple, different ults at different fights, thinking, oh, we can maybe win this one, we can maybe win this one, and that's just not the thought. It's let's force out whatever we can. We commit together no matter what. But they just weren't able to make it work. Thieves, though, with an insane comeback there, are trying to send this to Game 5 as we look at the start of this map.
Starting off, we're going to have Winnie with the team up with Vinny. And 100 Thieves obviously putting TDK back on the tank pool has looked good too. He's been a prominent figure, a reason why 100 Thieves have been winning this for sure. But Sentinels do have that flush. Nothing on 100 Thieves' side. They have to take advantage before any ults are built. But again, TDK is close to ult already.
Flame going to start off with that Royal Flush, using these cooldowns to stay healthy, and that's kind of how you have to play the game. But now, Crimzo with a nice pick there on a Millennia on this cap, and Crimzo, a mean cap, already getting value. Self matches it as Yusher goes down there. Flame trying to stay healthy, good movement once again. Front line looking dicey, but what do you know, it's a cap, and that's going to be a nice pick. Good Prio in that moment to get the pick prior to the heals, and go back to Crimzo after the fact. And now, this is just such a battle. These teams do not want to go down to each other, and it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Self trades back right, amazing too. So it was a good pull by Kurova to enable them to get that KO. But they still have to give up all this space. They also use the taunt out of the Deadpool. So cooldowns mean we need to back up. We have nobody to secure the point. Dongman just dive in, but again, like you said, he doesn't have the sustainability without that cooldown. Finally, they control the point, and Amazing is going to switch over to Deadpool in this next effort on the round.
Yeah, DD available there. And we see Crimzo does have that freedom charge. Kurova with the invisible boundary. Millennia is going to have that Royal Flush early, and that should net Thieves the advantage in this fight. But it can be answered here by Crimzo, which should give the ult charge boost to Flame to have his ult as an answer. Remember, folks, Cap not only gives you that over health, but you do also get ult charge increase 20% here after the changes. As we see the pick come in from TTK, who just looks so good on this hero. Wondering where this was in the past. Kurova finds Self, though. Trade this a bit, and that is a big pick as Crimzo is down, Self is down. They both had ultimates.
And like they're trying to mix it up, though, having to walk in. Like you said, Self has ult. Raging Royal Flush available. Sentinels do have their own. They actually pop in with TTK's ult early. Raging Royal Flush on the opposite side met. And Self actually decides to pop the ultimate this time.
And we can see, again, match back and forth, but using it on Self there is tough mid-all because it won't miss, but it doesn't matter with a good chase down. Dongman finds that pick right. Amazing onto Millennia is another one there for Sentinels who want this point. Just can't seem to get it.
Yeah, at the current moment, forced away. I mean, TTK shoves TTK, or gets shoved over to the health pack side. When he able to check down Amazing and himself off the map. The Self tracks down Yusher. They're still kind of delaying the point too. 100 Thieves still in control. Self doing a good job focusing on the overextended divers. And oh my goodness, tracks down Usher, who has been quiet so far, finally switches over to Psylocke. Kind of what I wanted to do in the previous round, considering how fast-paced 100 Thieves are now moving. Even if you make mistakes, it feels like the Psylocke combination with the Star-Lord at least has so much aggression available to it.
As we see Rye Mazing finding one, and there's that DD we were expecting to see from Rye. Has it in the bag. That's a two-piece now. Korova drops up. Yeah, exactly. That's just going to be a full team sweep. Well done. As Thieves now are going to have to respawn. Vinny, forced to stagger a little bit here. Tries to find a pick in the chaos. Would have been a nice trade. And Crimzo finds Millennia to even that out. But now Thieves are up 98%, and Sentinels are on the climb. Can it be the inverse of what we just witnessed last time, folks? It starts again.
But now is this his worry? You know, is Korova going to be too easy to KO instead of being on like a Jeff with the Venom team up and stuff? For 100 Thieves, all they have to do is win one fight. Straddle's available, sure. We'll see if Delena wants to use it to maybe force out something and then go with Vinny's ult or even combine, because this Venom ult could land flush.
Ultimate advantage, roughly even. Vinny going to be close with Delena there. And Flame going to be there close as well, right even with Millennia. So it should be a few Qs pressed in a moment as we see the commitment come in. There's the match right back. You see the dance of the Cutterfly from Delena gets paid for as Rye chases that down. That's going to be the first start for the side of Sentinels, who do want to try to sweep this back in their favor. And what would be the odds of that? Of a full 100% retake, where statistically, if you get point first like that and you take it up to that number, it is a very difficult thing to do. We'll see if it happens once more. These teams are just downloading each other, understanding their strengths and weaknesses, and exploiting them for days. Ult advantage even in this next fight.
This one-sided Daredevil's been huge, but you have to wonder if 100 Thieves already get too high up in terms of percentage. They'll have that combo of Self and Millennia soon. Sentinel's 100% aware of it, and they have their own. TTK does have that Deadpool advantage, at least, so that's more damage downrange.
Yeah, a ton of commitment now. Self in the sky combined with that Raging Royal flush is matched, and Self comes out on top of Usher in that fight, as it's still going to be stalled for the current moment. TTK finds Rye Mazing. 100 Thieves want to take this back. A lot of commitment of ultimates there. Portal play could be enough for them to get back. Crimzo tries to stall, but pays for it as Self and Vinny clean up the rest, and Self one more onto Dongmin. Portal play will be everything as Usher preps that now, and they know what's coming. Can they make this happen and retake, folks? As we are in an OT situation, Thieves could take this and push to Game 5 if they win this. Sentinels would end, or at least push us to map 3, excuse me, on domination.
Well, Crimson stalling. They have Rise ult soon. He needs to not go. Oh! They don't. I'm going to be sick.
That is a tough watch right there. That is insanity. A single frame off the point makes you pay for it, and that's why point is everything. TTK on the Vanpool, your MVP. And folks, we have ourselves a Game 5. What do you know, dog? That's just what we do here. It just seems to be this case. And I got to reiterate, TTK, dude, why are we not allowing this guy to play the Vanpool more frequently?
He's playing with it for sure. I mean, like, he's been a consistent factor of the team. It just plays that Vanpool to a high level, like you said. Oh, man. I mean, 100 Thieves, they look reinvigorated, dude. They're coming up on the reverse sweep now. I'm sure their fans are starting to get a little hope. And that's what they like to do to you, dude. 100 Thieves pulls the heartstrings, you know? They're the drama team, right? They have maximum cinema when we watch them every time.
Oh, this is just absolute cinema indeed, folks. That's the first time I've ever said it on cast because I can't believe it. Game 5 we go. Keep it locked right here. We'll be back right after this break.
well, and here we are, another map 5, because boy, that one hurt though. That was egregious. That's one of those C9s where you may or may not be telling your grandkids about it, because that one sits deep. Alas, maybe it's just good fan service because we are heading all the way to map 5, so that's what we wanted. We wanted a close series. We got a close series. Let's talk about what went down here, because honestly, 100 Thieves played this one really, really well. I love the way they are able to just recover, not get into their heads, and just play it really clean.
Yeah, I mean, coming down 100% on map 1 is already a feat in and of itself. But then looking really good there on map 2, for sure. TTK on the Vanpool. I mean, we were saying that from map 1. I mean, game 1. We were like, why is that not happening? It's just, this is so fun to watch, dude. I'm having such a good time with this, but it's just, these teams, man, they're just so storied. Every time these two duke it out, I don't know why.
They're just it's the match made in heaven, you know. It's kind of like Lunex and Yeah We Lost, similar thing, right? Like it just feels like these two teams always go together. And same thing with Sentinels. Sentinels also had another close game with NRG, so this team also loves to just make everything stressful as hell.
Yeah, stressful as hell. That's pretty much the theme here. I do see or love to see the evolution of those teams and players individually. You just pointed out TTK, right, playing that man pool, and that worked so well for them, right? And then on the other side, like, yeah, Amazing on the Rogue, like that's something we've not seen before, and it put in so much work that obviously like the Rogue ban had to come out for this one. It's like they have to like download them, but like it's really map by map. That's what makes them best of 5 so interesting, because you really have to adjust. You can't just come in with one single game plan. You have to be very reactive from map to map.
Yeah, it seemed like Yusher was being more marked there. Didn't have the freedom to do as much in terms of finals. Was getting a lot of damage still. Rai, though, up on that Star-Lord was great. Looked great. It made the switch over to DD, which also looked great. Had 9 finals. I think that's something they should play around more. I don't think it's a bad comp for them to run things like these DD, Cap, Venom plays early on and provide more pressure to the backline. But yeah, I mean, it's really been, everybody's had a moment here to look good in this matchup. But it's all about this final map and who clutches, and I love it. I love it so much.
Oh man, script writers, they've been cooking. Dogman, what do you want to see? Or first of all, where do you want to see us go? Because this is once again Sentinels map pick.
I mean, just anywhere that's not Central Park, I guess. Just that, please, not that map, I guess. And I mean, maybe we go to like the Midtown or something. I mean, I called that out last time. I was definitely wrong, I guess, because we went to. I believe Symbiotic Surface at that point, so that was also 100 Thieves map pick. So this is going to be a tough choice, regardless. I mean, we just need to see some like more stability here, because like the compositions, I like when we're playing the Loki stuff. I like we're playing Cloak and Dagger. So you know, maybe even for Sentinels, it could be worth protecting that early on instead of the Gambit compositions. I know it's good. I know it works for them. But if we're going to play that slow, if we're going to play bunker style, we might as well play around it, just because when we're not doing that, we just adapt too late, right? Like, I feel like if we're given the Daredevil, if we're given those sort of heroes, let's play them early on. Otherwise, just commit to like Loki and Cloak and Dagger and just play something slow, something like that.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that makes sense. Yeah, teams aren't really running the Cloak without the Loki around. It seems like, at least not right now, unless it's like an overtime situation, trying to farm all quick and you just have the longer ultimate. And that's just like we've talked about for those who maybe missed it. It's because in the neutral, not as much KO potential, right? Like as something like the Jeff, who could deal a ton of damage, you know, even the Gambit, right? So yeah, I'm not sure where they're going, what the answer is. Both teams have played a ton of different heroes in these 4 matches. So I just, again, I think you and I have kind of been able to see off the rip which team looks better based on their comp out the spawn gate. As soon as we see that, we're kind of like, okay. Like, even like we said, for I would say for Thieves, we saw TTK on that Vanpool, we saw Vinny on the Cap. I was like, oh, this is looking like a comp that they could probably win this on. I think this is something that they should have done from the beginning.
I love that they have to dig deep, but there is always like another layer to it, right? They are managing to just keep on coming up with another thing that we haven't really seen, another thing that might be working, and finding ways to like edge out those victories. And that's why we're ending up in a map 5. Now, regardless of what's going to go down here, the winner will be facing off against Yeah We Lost in the lower bracket. Is there a team you feel like has better chances against them, or the other way around, that Yeah We Lost has better chances against?
I feel like the team, I mean, maybe like Sentinels, if they're given certain heroes, if they're given the Ultron comps, would do probably better versus Yeah We Lost. But I mean, both teams, I mean, they have it's a tough road ahead of them if you have to play against that team. That squad is just so good. You talked about it earlier, Zoe, just like nobody is really prepared to play against Yeah We Lost until you do. You know, like you can make adjustments afterwards, but obviously not being in that group, not having to play against them, definitely is just going to be scary no matter who it is. But I would probably edge Sentinel slightly.
I like that. And I also think that SEN, I think they called out, was one of the teams that scrimmed them. So at least they had some practice on that stuff, right? Like, that's a win too, right? It gives you an advantage of seeing like the chaos comp that they run and finding a way, at least conversations behind the scenes about how you're going to handle it if you were to get there. The question is, do they get there though? You know, do they get there? I mean, of course it's a reverse sweep right now. I'm not sure what the ban out situation is going to be. Obviously it's going to be Elsa first, but do you guys have any predictions of, is it going to be just the strat line again?
I assume so, because that's where the comfort lies, right? Like, if Sentinels gets to play the strat line they want to play, like, that's when they look the best. That's the one thing that has tripped them up, when they were forced in different strats, like, kind of combinations, and then also, like, basically they had to, like, abandon what they're most comfortable with. So, yeah, I personally would target that, but it also depends on where they're taking us.
Yeah, they'll have to think about that, and they're still taking their sweet time deciding the maps.
They are thinking
moment,
about it.
I believe they're thinking hard, long, or they're going to the bathroom.
People have stuff to do, guys.
Yeah.
Can you all
hurry up and pick the damn map, or go to the bathroom, or how about we just invent esport diapers? That could be a good solution if these guys go to the bathroom. We're getting to that part of the broadcast because mine as well, with how long these players are taking.
I can smell the money. There's a business right there, Dogman. I think you're onto something.
Smell.
I can smell it. It's right there. Ka-ching. Yeah, honestly, no, that's a good business model, especially for esports, and we do have to find out eventually.
All right, we're digging into
this
it.
economy.
Let's open up the financial
in this
book.
economy, you know.
Do we have a plan? Do we have a business plan? What's going on here? What LLC are we getting? Maybe we can go for Team Ego Death because Self is in the game, so maybe that's viable. You know, put aside the ego, use the adult diaper, guys. Okay, that might be a smart decision.
No shame in that. Whatever like keeps you locked in. That's what this is all about. This is it's a performance diaper.
Yeah. You have the best ideas, Zoe. We gotta keep you around you're the ideas girl. I love it.
From the back seat, I'm reaching up, grabbing the wheel, and yoinking us back on track here with this. Delena, dude, I just looked at the stats while we were just sitting there because we spaced it for a moment. Delena only had one final on in that last man. That's
actually
so the Psylocke. I know you mentioned the Psylocke stuff. You know, across the board, the lowest in the entire lobby. You know, without the Loki around. So, what's your thoughts on that? What do you think is the reason for that?
Man, you really yanked me back on track with this one because I think like the Psylocke overall, like you don't have to make the plays, you don't have to be that character that gets the final hits. Like people think Psylocke is that type of character, but it does so much damage in the neutral now. Like old Psylocke, sure, had the combo. Like you saw how broken that punch was, that 1-2 punch was. But now new Psylocke, it's just about cooldowns, you know, and uptime. It's like an APM type character, so it's a very different style of play, for sure. So Delena definitely got value just in existing and living, and that's kind of like I like for both teams. Like if Rise switched to Daredevil sooner, would have been a fan of that. Kind of same thing, kind of can live for a long time with the overhealth and the damage output. And then the Star-Lord stuff, I mean, that could also work, but we're going to Shin Shibuya. So the maps that I predicted both teams were going to pick was wrong every time, just like my tournament predictions as well.
Just like everybody's.
Yep.
You and everybody's really. You're not alone in that boat. Okay, Shin Shibuya. Shib, how do you feel about this pick?
Shin Shibuya, I like this map. I think this map's fun. I mean, in terms of their actual stats, I'd have to pull up what I've written over time. Not 100% sure who has the most success here, but, you know, it's a controversial map, I say. I think point one is either the best defense ever or people get rolled instantaneously, and I'm not sure why that is the case, but it just always is the case. So, yeah, I'm not sure who comes out on top, but it's going to be about their strategy of attack on point one. I think that really sets the tone.
So what kind of strategy usually succeeds here? Like what's the spawn buster? What are you rocking up with to roll out quickly?
We just gotta like go to that height, control it real quick. It depends on what comp, obviously. I think a lot of these squads would like to control the high ground. We saw that happen before. But a lot of that's with Daredevil, right? There's a lot of things that depend on the matchups, depend on the ban phase. And there's certain things certain guys are strong at. Like, both teams are totally fine running the Gambit comps. It's a matter of, do we get the Invisible back into the game? And do we dive the Invisible Woman? Because I think Invisible Woman actually is somewhat easy to dive. That's the problem with, like, I think people thinking that Invisible Woman's super strong. If you have a good coordinated dive and setup, I know she has the peel for it and stuff, but especially with a lot of these melee characters that can just break through her shield and the amount of damage that output from the dive characters, it feels like it can be tough to play a lot of that invis. I know both teams still like to play triple strategists, especially Sentinels, but they haven't been able to do so because of the amount of Mantis bans coming through on the opposite side.
That's a good call out, man. I mean, you're right. It's because it's like you think invis and you think a lot of the self peel. You got invisibility, you have that shield, but it's so difficult into a 3-2-1 coordinated comp. Everybody at this level understands how to do that. In dive, as you're climbing through ladder, people just think like, all right, I go after backline, I perish, I blame the balance instead of just no setup at all. But at this level of play, they will set up and they'll comment. They're gonna be like, all right, I'm on height, I'm ready. Are you ready? Yes, 3, 2, 1. And then Invis is gone. Like, that's the kind of stuff that needs to happen if you want to play dive successfully. It's not the hero, it's you. No Flame, just calling you out a little bit of whoever, blames their heroes for maybe not succeeding. But yeah, I mean, it is difficult no matter what. And I think you really do need a strategist that can escape heavy, like Jeff, like, the side of Gambit, who has a lot of self-heal escape outside of just self-contained self-healing.
So which backline has impressed you more thus far in order or in regards to, like, just sustaining themselves?
I would say arguably 100 Thieves side. I mean, like, I like what Sentinels are doing sometimes. I'm not saying they're bad necessarily. It's just they've made more mistakes throughout. Like, there were times, especially on, I think, did they win Museum of Contemplation? I think Sentinels did. They were winning despite mistakes. I feel like there were times, when we would cloak and dagger roll and we would die outside of it. Sometimes Crimzo would do that. Sometimes Flame. And it depends on the CC, obviously, across the board. But I think there's just been less of that on 100 Thieves side. That's why I would say definitely Winnie and Millennia are probably my better backline, I think.
Well, we're actually heading into a quick break until our players are ready. Of course, the series going the distance. We want to make sure that they are locked in for this one to give it their all on map number 5. Quick break, and then we're back with more. Welcome back, everyone. Zoe here, joined by Dogman, and I run ship. This is the posse that somehow speaks map 5s into existence, and we did it once again for you, dear viewers. So you're welcome. We're gonna see what both of these teams have in store for us as the bans are about to take place. So no more waiting. We've decided on a server. Everyone went to the bathroom. Everyone is locked in and ready, and so are we for this last map in this series.
All right, let's go, Zoe. Let's freaking go, dude. I mean, where are we playing? Madagascar? Is that the server we're on? What server is it?
I assume so. Yeah, you nailed it. Maybe they decided on the server while going to the bathroom, bringing back gamer diapers.
Oh, God. Our viewers already hate us. We have lost all credibility as casters.
That's a full circle, though. Brought it back. Here we are in the banning phase, folks. Shin Shibuya, as discussed. Looking forward to seeing what the teams want to run. It has been a bit of chaos between teams on this map, but we're going to see now the Elsa ban on both sides, which I can promise you will happen.
Yeah, everybody learned their lesson after the early aspect of the tournament. I mean, there really hasn't been like any bad Elsa players either. That's the interesting fact. As okay, there we go, comes through inevitably for me. But you know, I imagine Protect's coming through in terms of the Gambit on both sides. We've seen some like deviations away from that. Like Shiv, like what do you think about that? Let me know if this is like if this is too hard of a question, but. I mean, would it be a decent idea to like prioritize other heroes that you want, like Daredevil, for example, if that's going to be targeted later on?
I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, we lost through that a little bit, no? So it's like it's definitely in the it's like are you scared to do it? It's almost like if I was a coach, if I made that decision, how much flack would I catch if I did that and I lost, right? Like I think that's kind of the tricky.
Yeah.
It's like, are you brave enough, right?
I'm kind of with you. So you're scared of like the public backlash, basically what would happen.
I'm not saying that's the right decision. I'm just saying that's probably why we're not seeing it as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you're kind of right, but also I don't know if I feel like if you have a coach as a coach care about what the public has to say about your ban phase.
You can't. Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't want to listen to the public. Like they're kind of like a little silly in the brain sometimes. Okay, like these guys, like it's obviously Captain Hindsight, and even us, like as casters.
Sure.
That's why like pro players will say like, hey, you guys probably shouldn't, listen to us because like you guys obviously are in the know. You're you're the one in scrims all the time. You believe kind of each other, and that's the big thing. You want to listen to each other in the dialogue, and there we go. We get that Daredevil ban on itself before Protects come through.
Yeah, I like that ban. Outside of that, it was pretty traditional across the board. Mantis being removed. I don't doubt that might happen from the side of Sentinels, banning that out for 100 Thieves. The lock-in of Invis, like we're talking about, and it enables that strange, it's good. We talk about there is some value. That Ultimate's obviously strong, and you don't have the Glartrox pulling you out. That's, always good to have. And she just does a ton of damage. We've seen both sides get a ton of value on the Invis, but instead of getting rid of the Mantis, electing to remove the Rogue.
Yeah, for the Gambit stuff, they don't want to let that through. They've shown that before. But yeah, you're right. The Mantis still gets through. If they do want to play it, they can still play triple Ultron with the Gambit, with the Mantis and all that stuff on the other side. Invis comes through for Team Sentinels, and that always could be an option. But the problem is, like, yeah, we haven't seen, I would say, the best performance of Self on Ultron just, and it's not necessarily his fault. It's just the team hasn't played around it that well. But they go for the Rogue ban on the opposite side, but still allow Daredevil through. So this would be a very interesting match to, I think, learn what is kind of going on between both teams' heads. But obviously, you can't do any more learning when you're out of the tournament. So we'll see who kind of comes out on top in this first 5-mapper this deep into the tournament.
Bro, the comp for Sentinels right now looks great. Similar, they want to go that triple backline. I'm assuming, for the side of 100 Thieves. So I think like both teams. I think both teams got. Yeah, I'll be hearing that one for a while. I'm sure that's in the comments. But the both teams kind of got what they want, right? Like it's 100 Thieves on defense with this triple backline. I like it, but we'll see if I love it in a moment.
And they're the team that I think that they don't really want to play like triple with the Mantis and stuff, even though it's available, which is kind of interesting. I think the Gambit kind of pushes all of that aside. And this was kind of like we were talking about. All the strategists are very strong. I mean, obviously Gambit, maybe you could say edges that out a little bit, but even then, like you could play it, right? Like if you're going Ultron stuff already.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Not every team is good at Mantis comps, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think it's become so well known across the world of how strong Mantis can be that teams feel obligated to have it be part of their kit or part of the rundown as a unit. But they don't always need to do it. But I do think it definitely is an option here. for 100 Thieves should they elect to do that, even on attack. If they wanted to do the group kind of thing, it would work well, just enable a little more healing and farm ult faster. But notice the positioning here, folks. Top left side, very strong defensive position. That's why you'll always have someone up there, and it makes it difficult. You have to find a way through it. The teams will like to break this left side of the map and switch the map completely, and that's exactly what we're seeing here from Sentinels. A textbook attack and a textbook defense, but Delena going to be the first one to find something. Dongmin trains that right back, though. Goodbye to Delena. Even numbers now on either side. Both teams just dropping back for a moment to reset. Good position.
Yeah. They have the read on Delena. Like, Delena goes aggressive, sometimes makes plays like that. He goes over to the Psylocke now, though, to come back. So we'll see him probably re-engage. Deadpool ultimate committed towards the back line, but the hard pocket comes through to keep everybody healthy.
Yeah, and dropping back again. Sentinels, essentially like a retake of spawn, but there's that commitment. Dongmin launching ult to allow them to walk forward, forcing eyes backwards, but Delena able to find Crimzo through that chaos in the back left side. Huge pick there to give them numbers even after committing with that ban hammer. TTK did the same in that fight. Not sure the value of that in terms of where it was landed or what it drew out, but both teams gonna have to start again, and Thieves are gonna be up in ult charge for a brief moment and doing a good job holding time.
There we go. Sentinel's a little quicker to make that adjustment. They put Crimzo over to the Groot to take advantage of 100 Thieves, like lower damage comp. Also, the ability to kind of just walk at him as it went off of the Phoenix. Off into the sky goes with the Ultron's Rage, trying to find a KO, but here comes the Raging Roll Flush, and in the sky is the Galactic Legend.
Yeah, this is insane right now. Amazing, able to find Self like we're discussing. Its Chef goes under, but where's it at? Ooh, looking for Crimzo, who does not have... Oh! What? Breaking the LOS. That was dirty. Crimzo saw that coming a mile away, played around it. Sentinels now with a strong attack are going to drive them backwards into that location. Self coming back into the fight right now should enable that hold for a little bit, it seems like. Now going to commit once they've stepped forward. Wow, really good across the board from both sides, but both sides are a little nervous. You can see Delena start up with that Dance of the Butterfly, dealing damage onto the front line. It's again not going to be enough here. Even the Ensong Inferno doesn't get value. Nobody landing any of these Qs successfully.
Made good sort of pocket going on. Groot ult as well comes through to peel off Vinny, but no KO just yet. Just ultra sustain on the defensive side. And Usher still sitting above this whole time, able to finally find that first pick as everybody here is on the cart. We're moving to second phase. Excellent work from Sentinels to finally break through.
Yeah, clean play. Moving the Strange there. Priority, they already used Portal. It was just guaranteed at that point. And now, if you are going to go down, you might as well go down on point. Take that into ladder with you, folks. If your team falls and you're like, oh, I might get staggered here, just stand on top of the point. Don't allow that thing to move, and that's what you see there. It wasn't like a misinput or anything like that from the side of Millennia. So now the next fight begins. We saw, we lost hold very tight here, and I thought it was a unique idea. It worked incredibly well, and I don't mean an idea of, holding tight's a good strength play. It was more so they just committed in that, that gaming center down there in the bottom left, much like where you hold on point one.
And they switch back off the Groot to the Captain America. Self goes to that Wolverine to counter a potential Groot. So right now, you would think, okay, Sentinels have the slight edge. But honestly, Wolverine, just in these neutrals, regardless of no Groot, has been so good with these centralized objectives. And everybody trying to set up now. Crimzo with the dive, but does the peel come through? Winnie does pop the invisible boundary.
Wow, good focus there. Goodbye to Winnie. And Song lands, and Usher finds one. TTK trades with Crimzo, but it doesn't matter as Flame takes out Vinny. And now Sentinels will keep this moving. 2 minutes and 48 on the clock here. Scooching it forward towards point two. This is a very tough point to break. If you get it through here and you head to point three, it means your defense should be significantly easier. We're going to see which team comes out in the next fight.
100 Thieves just did not get snowballed here. Like, they have Raging Roll Flush advantage. They could use it over Team Sentinels, but obviously they're going to have to move fast here.
Truth. That's a good call. Because Flame used that last fight, and that's why it was so significantly easier for them to find value. Self is going to be on that Wolverine like you like, bud, and down goes Rye. Amazing. It was likely in the sky, knowing Self. She's not missing that, but look at this. Tracking from Usher, onto Self, goodbye. Like a robot. Dude does not miss.
Yeah, you should just clean with it. I can see why they believe in the Phoenix if your Phoenix player is going to do something like this at all times. But, I mean, both have been so good. Dongman does get ran down regardless. Incoming Lunasto dance floor. Delena coming in with the Phoenix ult. Does he have a combination with Vinny or something afterwards who can toss the ult out?
Yeah, human Namor Squid, just always landing those shots as we see now. The drop back, good movement, good patty cake back and forth on the back line from the side of Sentinels there with Korova and Flame. But ult advantage up for Self and Vinny, and that could be huge. Crimzo almost has the charge there. Freedom Charge is always a decent answer. You can actually use it pretty well into Groot. We'll see if that happens here in a moment. And soon, we'll be able to also get, the perfect reflex shield for Cap.
Wonka, and there's that cap ult that you talked about. Invisible boundary as well. Vinny tosses out the ult. Did that actually connect, though? It might have gotten deflect, eaten, or whatever, because the Groot ult, unfortunately, did not strangle anybody. The only thing that strangled is the side of 100 Thieves ult charged, because now Sentinels, they got Phoenix ult, and use your cross map. You talked about him. Holy.
Crimzo cleaning up Winnie there. This is really clean play. Their comp is really good. This is the same comp we saw at the beginning that I really liked, and it's working out well. Yusher, dude, can you miss a shot, please? Can you prove to the world you're human? This guy is so strong right now. Locked in as Dongmin and Yusher now have ult. Flame and Rai will as well, and Thieves are going to be in an incredibly difficult spot in this next fight. If they combine here, Flame and Rai, it's almost a guaranteed pick, and then after that, you have Dongmin and Yusher to answer.
Yeah, Yusher's looking cracked. You know, like in D&D, there's the, magic missile. Right now, he's got, like, the magic bullet. Like, he's just all-time levels right now, for sure. But, oh, my God, they kidnapped Crimzo on the back left. Self finally kind of coming up. Bit less, more angles to play around for the Wolverine at the very least. But Raging Roll Flush and the Star-Lord in the sky, is it enough to trade back? The answer, yes. It's just kind of a win now button.
Wow, yeah, there it is. There's that combo we were talking about, and the answers are still there from Dongmin and Yusher. But this is a tough point to push all three. Your spawn significantly closer. It brings back to the days of strange portal offs. Definitely work here. Definitely on the table, but Self has that last stand available. Needs to find value with it soon to set the tone. 1:20 is a fair amount of time here for point 3.
I'm surprised that, on the opposite side for Vinny, didn't want to stay on that Groot throughout. It's just not enough healing maybe with this Invis and backline, fast pace, playstyle on the opposite side. Oh my goodness, everybody again hit by the passive of the Phoenix. Also, Phoenix on the opposite side, though, coming out from Elena. But again, Sentinels just do a good job at full disengaging. This is like their entire game plan throughout the series. It's just, we run away, we try to pick off stragglers. 100 Thieves, this time don't fall into the bait.
Dongmin now pressing forward, looking at Self, but there's that last stand. Does it land? It does, as the cleanup comes. Oh, Psych, I lied.
Where's the follow-up, man?
Turning it around. Yeah, I'm not sure where the comms were there. It seemed like no one else was on that same page. Maybe it was just an aggro play. It didn't work out. Crimzo doing an incredible job here on Cap. You're wondering why they had to switch off the Groot. Crimzo's constantly on that backline. Look, they can't look anywhere else. Groot cannot get healed. Goodbye, Rymazing. Yusher finds 2. Millennia trades with Rymazing, but Crimzo onto Winnie, and this could be it here, as Vinny's trying to stall for as long as possible. Kurova with the damage boost. Crimzo takes out Vinny, and now Kurova, ew, what a cleanup there with the freeze on a TTK. Point 3 is ever closer. Can they clutch this? Can they clinch this? And it looks like it's held for a moment, but not for long. This looks like it will go Sentinel's favor. They're going to get all 3 on this push.
They're trying to stall it out a little bit longer, but the answer is no. Freedom charge, assemble, nothing. He's going to have to assemble his body parts back together after Sentinel's 3-0 cap. Dude, like, why are we not playing Groot again? Like, why are we playing in a Sentinels game plan? People are trying to make plays, Self trying to make a play, Delena's trying to make a play, but nobody's there to follow up. It's actually just, like, straight up upsetting me. Like, can we just, like, we're playing a dive comp, we're playing Captain America and stuff. Like, can we help out our guys trying to make plays? Can we do something?
Yeah, it's tough. I think the problem that they're having is, like I was saying, Crimzo on that back line is just pulling enough focus and make it very difficult for your team to look forward. And that's where that triple line, shot line can work out if you really need to, if you're struggling that much. We've heard stories of Crimzo's cap. We haven't seen a lot of it in the preseason here. I'm excited that it's back now, taking a seat in the forefront. But yeah, I'm with you, but I'm not sure. That comp was just clearly not it by any means.
Oh, I think it can't be it, Like, it really can't. Like, 100 Thieves have the potential. They have the players and the pressure to do so. And they showed that. The
nerves,
fact that it was an overtime could be nerves. Both teams have that similar playstyle that Energy Shock does, where they, like, always kind of want to revert to sort of peel jobs. But then, like, if you do that, obviously, depending on what you're playing against, it's not going to work out.
Yeah, but maybe, you can't be looking backwards all the time, yeah.
Yeah, you could still blame Self, I guess, a little bit there. Like, maybe he shouldn't go for those plays. Maybe they should bunker up and deal with Crimzo, like you said. But Crimzo's adapted and done a good job at playing his life and doing what you said is best done for Captain America players and just kind of harassing.
Yeah, feel free, folks, to go in and watch replays and watch some of these caps do what they do. You'll see a lot of time it's just all about showing your presence. It's not necessarily getting 1,000 KOs. It's about saying, hey, I'm here, look at me, and then your team takes the space off that. As we see the portal coming in from TTK, and this is the kind of stuff we need to see now from Thieves on a full reset, playing with Vinny on the Groot in this backside angle. They want to try to get value here and doing something different and essentially spawn switching at this moment.
They're doing the thing. When he built up the ult already.
Yep.
Little hoppity skip.
Well, hoppity skip as they press forward now. When he does have that ult, should they need it. So they're going to play on point here and try to just battle whoever's going to contend.
They're trying to with Vinny on the point, or not Vinny, sorry, Crimzo on the point to delay it off, but there's that ult. Throws out immediately onto who on the opposite side. It's actually tough to tell, but can't get the jackpot just yet. Building it up towards that objective. Finally gets to extend it too, so built up to another 8 seconds afterwards. Counter Deadpool comes out for the Vanguard pool on the defensive side, but everybody's still locked down together as they want to run inside and again bunker up. This is what 100 Thieves like to do. It's similar to Sentinels. Play around Delena and hard bunk.
Now, that was actually a really clean tactical play right there, using that to their advantage. We haven't seen that a lot yet either. As wow, nice pick coming in onto Vinny there from Flame, who makes that up in their numbers. And now Sentinels are going to be, oh my goodness, Delena with some nice shots onto Yusher. Psych, I lied. Numbers evened out. Going to see if they could retake on point. Crimzo trying to do-si-do a little bit. Just make them look in that direction. Build that ult as fast as possible. Shield up and buy time. And look for self. And Crimzo almost gets it. Who gets healed up at the last moment.
Yeah, both teams kind of do the same thing. Just kind of peel out, wait for stragglers to come through. TTK finally going to get one onto Dongman.
Wow.
But they still want to win. They use the dance floor. Now, maybe a Doctor Strange portal to come back, but Yusha commits his ult, and also Ludisto dance floor damage boost gives them the KO, though actually, no, they don't get the KO. It's the opposite side for Delena to get one.
Yeah, using that, yeah,
Oh
exactly.
my.
Nice dunk there. Delena is just locked in right now. Coming back with a vengeance after Yusha looked so good. No, there's going to be some tracking. Eyes up in the sky here. Can they make this? It's
right,
shut
ult.
down. Oh, self with a potential tackle. Oh, this is not up in here. Just spikes Rye into the ground, but right back go Sentinel and Crimzo. Crimzo with a two-piece. Now trying to find a third onto the back line, but there is more commitment again. Oh, but not
He's
for
gonna
long. Goodbye, Winnie.
Well, he's switching, and then we probably got TTK going over the Deadpool. Maybe after that, or does he just
It might
not?
be too late. It might be too late, dude. Oh, no, it is happening.
Well,
Oh, because the strap pull. What am I saying? Yeah.
Well, it happened for such like a long time that they had no choice but to stay on it, because Sentinels were just like letting them stay on it, surround them, giving the right KOs. Now upcoming fight, Sentinels still have the edge. But you are right in that it has potentially been too long for 100 Thieves now, as they've already chewed off 3 minutes of the clock from this unsuccessful offense.
Yeah, so for those who maybe didn't understand, which caught me off for a moment, is strap pull to build all that experience. Now you make the switch as TTK, using that experience to his advantage, finds Dongmin in that fight. Make it a two-piece now. Put this dude on Vanpool. Absolutely gross. But Crimzo on that cap, same story. Millennia goes down. Vinny able to find one onto Kurova. Another pick onto Crimzo. And Delena onto Rye Mazing. And they will be walking.
There they go. Yeah, that one switch up was huge, like you mentioned. Sentinels, though, they have to feel somewhat confident about that. That was an extended hold. However, we've seen 100 Thieves snowball in situations like this before. Whereas, like we said, it's like watching a mirror for both teams. Both squads just love to play it slow, allow these Deadpools to kind of get online when there is a Deadpool, rather, as Dongman obviously has that motor ready to go. But we'll see who kind of, can find the straggler first, Sentinels or 100 Thieves on the attack. They obviously have that cart moving forward and can look for these Vanguards that try to anchor.
There's no real answer to I right now. If you landed on Millennia in the backline on that Gambit, that's going to be your priority because the cleanse is very much still a thing. It's on the table here. These pros know how to do that properly. Yusher on this off-angle flank with the stun tries to stop the pressure from TTK, but TTK says nope, goodbye Kurova. Flame able to, Vinny with a two-piece as TTK finds another and another onto Yusher. TTK is not giving up and coming in with a vengeance. 2 minutes 24, heading towards point 2. But this is another one of those spots that we like to talk about is really, really strong in the defensive side.
It is playing it slow, try to play it on the inside angle. And for that, and now upcoming fight, again, Crimson still has the option to switch back to Groot if he wants to for the upcoming fight, regardless. Raging Roll Flush itself available, the Galactic Legend.
Wow, another pick from TTK. He cannot be stopped right now. That's just so clean. Another onto with Delena. Self finds Dongman. Vinny onto Crimzo. And 100 Thieves are not done yet, folks, as they will be this close to point 2, heading towards 3 with about just as much time as there was for Sentinels.
Yeah, they're
This
actually...
touch comes through. Wait, this touch will come through from Crimzo.
Oh, you're right.
Wow.
Will come up maybe after as well. So he's touching with the Captain America Ultimate in the meantime, and actually no portal rather coming through. So they're just going to have to run this out, look towards Crimzo.
Oh.
Here goes Ryan in the sky with the ult.
Yeah, the Vinny using that freedom charge to answer. Great answer there. But now Gambit comes into the mix, and nobody's ready for it. No altar charge. What a retouch there by Crimzo and Sentinels, who are now going to have that priority. A minute on still. Crimzo, Dongman, and again, Ryan Mazing just duking it out there back and forth. The boxing match, really well done by Sentinels in a situation that was dicey. What a touch by Crimzo.
Yep, and that really enabled them. And also the follow-up. Everybody came through on Ryan's side. You know, Dongman came through to go for that ult. TDK again, though. You talked about him before. He's got Deadpool ready to go, and as well Self and Millennia will have that original flush up in a moment.
Let the games begin, folks. This is the intense moments. Both sides of the fandom, I'm sure, are losing it right now. Ryan Amazing playing aggro onto Winnie. Winnie with a good push, though. Trying to duke it out, but this is that double oppressive nature of this dive. Winnie is going to fall. Delena trades that with Yusher, though, but a Strat goes down, and that's advantage. Ooh, except for when Delena does that. Ew. Ryan Amazing trying to escape. Cannot. As Delena is sweeping everyone right now.
This is looking like a great game, dude. Just a back and forth right now. Crimson touches, obviously, with the Snowflake, but cannot for any longer when you just get a headshot like that. Third phase, we're moving, Shib. They did it with 15 seconds left, but they get 2 minutes now added to the bank nearly. They also have the flush combination. Sentinels, again, not going for Magneto to try to maybe soft counter it a little bit. And, you know, both sides really just back and forth. You saw Rye and them go for Winnie in the back line. It was smart. It was a good play, but it took a little bit too long as, like you said, Delena hit shot after shot. In this third phase, though, they have to keep snowballing. They have to probably not overcommit in the upcoming fight or deal with Sentinel's ult coming up as well.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of follow-up here from 100 Thieves. Millennia's ult is available. Flame's not going to quite be there yet. Flame does a good job of gaining quickly, and wow, 80% already, just flying through it. Amazing, not in that combo yet. And if I'm 100 Thieves, I'm trying to make something happen now before that does come into fruition, unless you want to be retroactive or responsive, I guess. Is now there goes the dance floor. The combo's out. Oh my goodness, the focus was disgusting. Goodbye to the dance floor. Delena able to clean up too, and that is all of them now as Sentinels are down heavy in numbers. The retake commitment will come through. Crimzo, Yusher, Flame, and I believe Ryan Amazing should have ults here, where it's going to be Winnie, Vinny, TTK. And this is all about who gets the early picks in value, because ult advantage should theoretically be on Sentinel's side. Portal play would need to come through if this does not work for 100 Thieves. What a freeze there on TTK, who tries to launch that ultimate. And Yusher and Dongman are going to sweep everyone, and now it's going to be a forced portal. So you know what's going to happen. Sentinels are going to push forward like crazy and try to not allow that to happen likely.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see.
Hey, did they go for the spawn stun? Did they go for it, Shib?
I don't know, actually. We can't see. Vinny stalling for now, doing a good job, but ooh, gets deleted. And that might not have been in time. I don't think. Oh, the portal comes through, though. The portal does commit. Invisible boundaries now out for Winnie.
Oh, ults after this.
But Sentinels, look at they played so smart. They're holding on to all those ults still.
Yeah, they're coming up right now. I mean, Yusher just goes for the flank. This could end them. Captain American ult as well. Millennia now on the flank. 1v1. I mean, can you deal with this? So many ults. Unless an absolute choke chop happens from Sentinels, it's basically over. Phoenix, Captain America, Star-Lord, all of the ults are happening. Shit, this is not looking like the Avengers. This is looking like the final comeback out of Sentinels as they close out 100 Thieves probably.
And Sentinels are sweeping everyone. Portal is gone. That is going to be game, set, match. Goodbye to 100 Thieves. Sentinels clutching up and taking home the W.
Ooh, buddy. You know what that means, Shib? Don't we get to see the Sentinels versus... yeah, we lost coming up. You know, that's going to be exciting. Holy, but...
Oh, my goodness.
They're out of the tournament now, Sentinels. What a way to stop the reverse sweep. 100 Thieves were this close to coming back.
I mean, it couldn't have been more entertaining. Shout out to 100 Thieves. You know, obviously got a few new pickups there on the squad. A team that looks great. Started to come into their own, but I think just took a little bit too long to find out what works best for their team. Well done, TTK and Lena. 14th Lena looked great at the end there, locking in, but I mean, just look at Ryan Amazing with the 48 finals, and it's off the back of that combo from Flame A, who did such a good job coordinating that. Korova, 44k healing most in the lobby. The whole side of Sentinels locked in. Crimzo on that cap with 12 finals, I think is more of a homecoming for a character than we've seen in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, this is such a hard meta. I mean, like, every pro is struggling right now. Every team is struggling except two that have been sitting at the top in the upper bracket that we'll see coming up because... I mean, we've heard pros talk about it too. It just feels like everything is so good. Zoe, you know, we'll bring you back in too. Like, we got to close out on what was a interesting run from 100 Thieves after their expectations were sky high in the group stages.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be real here. This last map was so close. It was so very close. Both teams approached it with very similar ideas, starting already in the pick and lock phase, right? And then even throughout that series, they kind of wanted to play it the same way, and it really just came down to like individual clutch moments, like having Crimzo touching that point at the second point there during 100 Thieves attack. Like, it was those little individual moments where one player managed to pop off or find a pick that allowed for Sentinels to come out on top. But this could have gone 100 Thieves ways too.
Yeah, it really could have. And I think like both of these squads, I'm sure they'll have a lot to take away from this tournament. You know, and I know I was being a bit harsh, I think, during the series and during the matches, but every pro...
Because you care.
Yeah, everybody is struggling right now, exactly. And it's tough to see these teams, I think, struggle, especially pro teams at this level. But that's what happens when, you know, there's team ups, there's ban phases, there's so much, you know, included. And obviously we give you Captain Hindsight over here and you'd be like, okay, can you make that change faster? But in the heat of the moment, when you also have to focus on your mechanics, it can be really hard.
We also just never know. Yeah, I was about to say, there's more to it. We don't know what's going on in their comms. We don't know what they practice. We don't know how things look like in scrims.
Yeah, fully. And it's like, you know, you're losing all charge. You don't, yeah, exactly. You don't know what's looked like in before against a similar comp that's worked for you in scrims. Maybe the map, it feels more comfortable. There's a lot going into it, but yeah, I mean, and dude, I mean, the meta's constantly changing, right? This is an insane meta. Teams are loving it because it's kind of like, there's so many different viable things you can run, but it's also, I don't know, man, this is just chaos right now. I love it. It changes in a month, right? Like, things just constantly change all the time. That's why you need to be on the fly. And while it may not be some teams' meta, shout out to 100 Thieves who struggled a little bit, but did look a lot more like themselves throughout this tournament later on. It could be coming up in the future as, you know, these new balance patches come into play.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see more of them. I mean, this could have been an upper bracket like final match as well, if it wasn't for, you know, Liquid Citadel and Swamp Gaming being the dominant forces that they are currently. And I feel like no matter who is making it through the lower bracket, one of these teams will be facing off against either Swamp Gaming or Liquid Citadel, and it feels like that's kind of where their run will end. So, yeah, it's a tough road. It's so stacked. It honestly is such a stacked region. I mean, we said it already about the groups, that where we initially thought like Group A is the group of death and Group B is just meh, but then like it started getting really competitive and really topsy-turvy and ended up being so much more competitive. And we see that right now as those two groups are facing off against one another. Now we do have Flamey joining us for a quick chat after this intense 5-map banger that we just got to see. So let's bring Flamey in for a quick chat. Flamey, congratulations. First of all, how do you feel? This was a very long match.
Speechless, to be honest. I'm very excited we won. I don't know, it just means a lot.
Yeah, man, it's been a banger to watch. It's such a back and forth. How did you guys manage to stop that reverse sweep? Like, it was such a close series. Was there anything you guys discussed after you started losing maps? Was there anything you felt like, if we make this change, we're gonna come out on top?
Going into map 5, we wanted to take the dive approach, I would assume, because ultimately we were planning on walking out DD. But then we heard their comp and we're like, nah, we're not gonna do that. And so we ended up just playing that comp, which we do practice a lot and we have really good success on, and I'm very excited we're, you know, able to execute it really well.
Yeah, fair enough, fair play. And obviously you've been a newcomer in this roster and stuff, and it's awesome to finally have you, you know, alongside some of these top dogs in the scene. But I mean, I know we've seen like other pros, for example, Phi and like the VP guys just got eliminated over in EMEA, but they said this is like the hardest meta that they've ever had to kind of cover, because so many things are good, so many things are also not good. Can you talk about, from like your perspective as a pro, like, is this one of the toughest metas to kind of understand with how many things that are potentially in the cards?
Yeah, I would agree with the VP players. It's very difficult. Things are always shifting. It also depends on the team. I feel like regardless, I feel like this whole season alone, bans have been, you know, developing, depends on who you're going against, and it's just very all over the place and very complicated, to say the least. Like, you know, Gambit's either first ban or Elsa, but a lot of people are banning Elsa first now.
Awesome. It's good to see you, buddy. How have you been? I hope everything is well. But hey, I got to ask quick, real fast. I mean, you're going against, yeah, we lost here. So that's going to be coming up next. I know you guys have scrimmed against him in the future. Do you feel like you've downloaded the kind of weird comp that they run that can throw some teams for a loop? Or is this going to be kind of a on the fly, we're learning situation?
I wouldn't say we scrimmed them recently. I would
Okay.
say we scrimmed them maybe earlier this month, but I wouldn't say like recently. But I think obviously a really good team. They showed themselves really well against Lunex, and I hope that what we do, or what we do is what we do, and I think we'll do it best, especially against we lost.
Beautiful.
Wow. We get to see that in action on the server tomorrow. So I'm going to let you rest up. It's a short turnaround. We're very excited to see that match. Best of luck, and thank you so much for joining us for a quick chat.
Good luck, buddy.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, Flamme. Sentinels come.